Chapter 15:10 Seriously, why did 7-star freaking give jewels, jade, and gold? Yi Wanwan's heart was bleeding. Nameless Nye silently closed the present, but his hands were glued to the box, unwilling to place it down. Wanwan, come and have a seat. Madame Nye pulled Yi Wanwan by her hand and led her inside the living room. Yi Wanwan was surprised by the affection Madame Nye was showing her. She originally thought she might get kicked out, so what was this? Could it be that she turned on cheating mode? After entering the living room, she looked up and saw that Madame Nye was assessing her with a pleased smile. Wanwan, your mother has a good daughter. Madame Nye complimented her with a light chuckle while examining her outstanding looks and temperament, all the while holding her hand. Thank you, Annie, Yi Wanwan answered politely. About last time, Annie might have had some misunderstanding, so don't take it to heart, Madame Nye said. Before Yi Wanwan could reply, Madame Nye said, Wanwan, weren't you in China? How did you get to the independent state? Mom, why are you asking her so many questions? It's not like she's your daughter. Aren't you too nosy? Nameless Nye asked with displeasure as he walked into the living room. Madame Nye glared at Nameless Nye. Don't be so rude. You aren't young anymore. I'm only 29. Nameless Nye protested in haste. Both Madame Nye and Yi Wanwan turned to look at Nameless Nye at the same time, exasperation clear in their eyes. What? Nameless Nye asked. Madame Nye glanced at him again, but didn't say anything and turned to look at Yi Wanwan again. The more Madame Nye praised this girl, the more she liked her and the more she wanted to get close to her for some reason. Wanwan, Tang Dang probably wasn't easy to look after back in China, right? Madame Nye suddenly asked her. Yi Wanwan shook her head vehemently. No. Tang Dang was very obedient. Oh. Madame Nye was surprised. Tang Dang was obedient? What a rarity. Mom, I told you. Everything has its vanquisher. Little devil acts more well-behaved than a dog in front of Wanwan. Nameless Nye interjected. Both Yi Wanwan and Madame Nye fiercely glared at Nameless Nye. If you don't know how to talk, don't speak. Madame Nye frowned while looking at him. Her son acted like he had a handicapped head. How did she birth someone like him? What did I do? Nameless Nye didn't understand. Look at your sisters, Worryless and Ling Long, and then look at yourself. You can't be a good elder brother or a good uncle. You're so old already, but you don't even have a girlfriend yet. Aren't you ashamed of yourself? Madame Nye admonished coldly. Nameless Nye's lips twitched. He looked like he wanted to say something, but ended up swallowing his words. Mom. A woman wearing luxurious clothes entered the living room. Worryless, you're here. Madame Nye smiled faintly and had the woman sit down next to her. Yi Wanwan imperceptibly examined the woman next to Madame Nye. This woman was the second miss of the Nye family, Nameless Nye's younger sister, and also Tong Tong's biological mother. Several days ago, in his home, Yi Shuian told her that Tang Tang was his little disciple and requested her to help him investigate whether this worryless Nye was truly Tong Tong's mother. Chapter 15:11 However, Yi Wanwan was troubled. How should she investigate this? The woman glanced at Yi Wanwan before asking Madame Nye, Mom, this is? Worryless, she's Yi Wanwan, your brother's good friend. She's the one your brother troubled to look after Tang Dang back in China, Madame Nye replied. The woman was startled by Madame Nye's answer and carefully examined Yi Wanwan, a tinge of nearly indiscernible hatred surfacing in her eyes. Huh? So it's Miss Wanwan. The woman concealed her hatred and smiled at Yi Wanwan. Is it Miss Wanwan Chinese? How did you come to the independent state? What does it have to do with you? Is it any of your business? Nameless Nye glanced at the woman. Brother, Miss Wanwan is your friend, and I'm your sister. So isn't it normal for me to show some curiosity when a friend visits the Nye residence? The woman had a deep frown. Before Nameless Nye could respond, the woman turned to Madame Nye with an aggrieved expression. Mom, does brother hold some bias against me? Madame Nye glared fiercely at Nameless Nye. Then the woman turned to Yi Wanwan and said, Miss Wanwan, you're my brother's friend, so you're naturally a friend of the Nye family as well. Thank you for taking care of Tang Dang back in China, Miss Wanwan. That child is difficult to get along with and take care of. As Tong Tong's mother, I didn't fulfill my duty. I'm truly apologetic that I had to trouble Miss Wanwan. Yi Wanwan calmly replied, it's nothing. Tang Dang and I got along rather well. Yes, the woman nodded. After Tang Dang came home, he missed Miss Wan Wan a lot. However, I'm Tong Tong's mother, and blood is thicker than water. Tang Tang now understands this principle and knows what genuine blood relations are. Outsiders are outsiders, after all, and can't compare to his own mother. Now, Tang Dang and I get along very well. Yi Wan Wan's brows furrowed minutely when she heard this woman's words. Worryless Nie's words were a bit vague, but Yi Wan Wan could understand her meaning. If Miss Wan Wan likes children, she can have a few of her own. No matter how dearly you love other people's children, it's pointless, isn't it? Worryless said meaningfully. Yi Wan Wan didn't respond. If this woman really was Tong Tong's biological mother, Yi Wan Wan absolutely wouldn't disturb her and Tang Tang. However, Yi Shuian said last time that he suspected this woman's identity. It was possible she wasn't Tong Tong's mother and was a fake. Yi Wan Wan also had her doubts, though. How could a mother not recognize her own daughter? Couldn't Madame Nye tell if this worryless Nye was fake or not? She wouldn't be surprised if it was nameless Nye, who couldn't recognize his own sister, though. On the other hand, Yi Wan Wan had an inexplicable sense of trust in Yi Shuian. This was related to Tong Tong's life, and she went through fire and water with nameless Nye, so she had to investigate this matter thoroughly. Of course, it would be a happy ending for everyone if she could prove this woman was worryless Nye herself. Miss Nye is right, however. I promised Tang Dang I'd come to the Independent State to visit him before, Yi Wan Wan said. Nameless Nye didn't allow the woman to reply before saying, "What? Do you have an objection to me bringing my friend home for a visit?" The woman glanced at Nameless Nye. Visiting is fine, but you have to assess the circumstances and timing, eldest brother. If it was someone else, I would naturally welcome them enthusiastically, but Miss Wan Wan has a unique relationship with Tang Dang. Moreover, Tang Dang doesn't want to see Miss Wan Wan. Chapter 15:12 Madame Nye glanced at the woman and gently said, "Worryless, Miss Wan Wan is a guest, and also your brother's friend." "Mom, I'm not targeting Miss Wan Wan, but the situation is unusual anyway. I don't think Tang Dang wants to see her either," the woman said to Madame Nye. "Enough, Worryless, don't be so inconsiderate." Madame Nye's brows were furrowed as she looked at Worryless Nye. Since Madame Nye said that, the woman had no choice but to nod and quietly say, "Mom, I didn't mean anything by it." Undisguised loathing surfaced in the woman's eyes. She remembered that Madame Nye disliked this woman a lot in the video call last time, so why did her attitude change today? Also, wasn't this woman from China? Why did she suddenly run to the Independent State and show up at the Nye residence? Wan Wan, Worryless isn't purposefully targeting you, so don't take it to heart, Madame Nye comforted Yi Wan Wan with a smile. Yi Wan Wan nodded with a smile of her own. "Auntie, no worries. I understand." Nameless Nye stood on the side and couldn't help but shake his head. Look at the gigantic difference between Worryless Nye and Boss Famous. Before Madame Nye could continue, Nye Linglong entered the living room with a young man and young woman behind her. "Greetings, Madame Nye." The two youths greeted at the same time while looking at Madame Nye. Madame Nye nodded and turned to Nye Linglong. "Linglong? These two are?" "Mom, they're students from Scarlet Flames Academy, so they're technically my junior brother and sister. They were passing by Nye District today and came to visit," Nye Linglong replied with a smile. Madame Nye nodded. Both Worryless Nye and Nye Linglong were legendary students at Scarlet Flames Academy back then, so it was normal for students to visit. "You must be senior sister Worryless Nye," the young woman standing behind Nye Linglong said with a smile as she looked at Worryless Nye. Worryless Nye nodded and replied, "I am. Senior sister Worryless is our Scarlet Flames Academy's legend. You once created many records at the Academy. It's truly an immense honor to be able to meet senior sister Worryless today." Worryless Nye immediately shook her head. "It's nothing. All the records I created were broken by Linglong. So if we have to name Scarlet Flames Academy's legend, it's Linglong who deserves the title. I still have much to learn compared to Linglong." The Scarlet Flame students naturally knew about Nye Linglong breaking Worryless Nye's records. Just as Worryless Nye said, there was indeed a great difference between her and Nye Linglong. Wow, I never knew. When did you become so low profile and humble? Nameless Nye glanced at Worryless Nye. Although Nameless Nye could count the number of times Worryless Nye returned to the Nye residence with one hand, he had never forgotten her personality. She would insult the sky, insult the earth, and insult the air. She only allowed herself to be stronger than other people, and other people couldn't be stronger than her. Back then, when Worryless Nye returned to the Nye residence and ran into Nameless Nye, she insisted on comparing notes with him. A mere 3 moves, and Worryless Nye was defeated by Nameless Nye. However, Worryless Nye wouldn't accept the outcome and kept challenging him, but never lasted more than 3 moves. In the end, while Nameless Nye was sleeping, Worryless Nye snuck into his bedroom and tied him up with a rope. She threatened him by saying she wouldn't release him unless he admitted defeat. Chapter 15:13. Nameless Nye had no choice but to surrender and admit defeat to regain his freedom. Now, someone with Worryless Nye's personality would actually admit she was weaker than Nye Linglong? What a serious change in personality. Worryless Nye glanced at Nameless Nye before indifferently saying, "Eldest brother, we're a family after all. Younger sister Linglong is stronger than me, so she's stronger than me. Why must I try to compete with her? Anyway, it's the truth that she's stronger than me, and I still have much to learn before I can compare to her. Even if I don't admit it, it's still the truth." Nameless Nye was too lazy to respond to her. It had nothing to do with him regarding which of the two was stronger. Nye Linglong had a bright smile on her face until she suddenly saw Yi Wanwan from the corners of her eyes. She started. "Why was this woman at the Nye residence? Why are you here?" Nye Linglong asked with a frown while staring at Yi Wanwan. Younger sister, Miss Wanwan misses Tang Tang. So she specifically came to the independent state from China in order to see Tang Tang. Worryless Nye answered with a snort. Nye Linglong was startled. She saw this woman at the G residence last time, but wasn't her name by phone? And didn't she have a good relationship with Ji Shiran? Why was her name Wanwan now? Nye Linglong suddenly realized something, and emotions raged through her eyes. Wanwan, China, once took care of Tang Tang. Nye Linglong stared at Yi Wanwan, her fists clenched and a cold glint flickering through her eyes. If that was true, then this woman in front of her was most likely the true Worryless Nye. Back then, Nye Linglong learned from Spray of Flowers that Feng Shuani once told them this woman was the true Worryless Nye. After that, Nye Linglong hired quite a few mercenaries from the independent state to eliminate her. Unfortunately, they didn't succeed. Who would have expected this damn woman would actually come to the independent state? No wonder Ji Shiran treated this stupid woman like that. Ji Shiran probably knew her true identity. Otherwise, why would he be so intimate with her? Even if Ji Shiran didn't know, he had to have been attracted by her inherent nature. However, the only fortunate thing was that Worryless Nye seemed to have lost her memories. This was more than enough for Nye Linglong. Her identity would be forever replaced by someone else. And so it's Miss Wanwan. We meet again. Nye Linglong greeted Yi Wanwan with a light chuckle. Yi Wanwan nodded calmly. She could feel her head swimming. She had completely forgotten about Nye Linglong. Several days ago, she went to the G residence with Bai Feng's identity and coincidentally ran into Nye Linglong. Now, she came to the Nye residence with Yi Wanwan's identity and ran into Nye Linglong again. If Nye Linglong exposed her identity like this, the Fearless Alliance would probably. She had to start making plans now. Oh right, if Miss Wanwan likes children so much, why don't you have one yourself? Why are you so fixated on my sister's child? Isn't that a little improper, Miss Wanwan? Nye Linglong asked Yi Wanwan with a smile on her lips. The 2 young mercenaries next to Nye Linglong also examined Yi Wanwan when they heard that. Before Yi Wanwan could reply, a young man entered the house. The man swiftly walked toward Nye Linglong and quietly spoke next to her ear. Yi Wanwan was startled when she saw this young man, surprise surfacing in her eyes. Chapter 15:14. This man looked very familiar. As though she'd seen him before, Yi Wanwan abruptly recalled how she was assassinated for no reason back in China. And this man was amongst the group that hunted her. Turbulent emotions stormed through her mind. This man looked like he was under Nye Linglong. Could it be that the mastermind behind my assassination was Nie Ling Long? However, I wasn't connected with Nie Ling Long in any way back then and didn't know her, so why did she want to assassinate me? What was her objective? Many details surfaced in Yi Wanwan's mind in an instant. When nameless Nie went to China back then, he said he wanted to find his younger sister, worryless Nie. He even once said I resembled his sister. Later, Tang Tang came to China to search for his mother, and we met. After worryless Nie was found in the independent state, nameless Nie suspected this worryless was a fake. Even piece of shit, Yi Shuihan, asked me to help him investigate. Coincidentally, before I left China, Nie Ling Long sent people to assassinate me. Could it be shock and disbelief enveloped Yi Wanwan? Hypothetically speaking, what if she was worryless Nie? Yi Wanwan felt like something was off about it still. If she really was worryless Nie, then Nie Ling Long was her younger sister. So, why did her sister want to kill her? Moreover, nameless Nie would be her brother, and Madame Nie would be her mother. Could it be that her real brother and mother couldn't recognize her at all? Wasn't this too unbelievable? No matter what, Nie Ling Long and the man who tried to kill her had an undeniable connection. Yi Wanwan glanced at Nie Ling Long and smiled indifferently. You have a good relationship with your elder sister indeed. Brother Nameless told me that you were adopted by worryless Nie when you were young. If it weren't for worryless Nie, you would have died on the outside already. There's no way you would have become a daughter of the Nie family and sat in a bed of luxury and honor. Nor would you have been able to go to some Scarlet Flames Academy and become a legendary student. When Nie Ling Long heard Yi Wanwan's words, her face darkened immediately, especially when Yi Wanwan said adopted, but she quickly concealed it. Hey yes, it appears you do have a good relationship with my eldest brother. He even told you about this. That's right, I was adopted by elder sister. If it weren't for elder sister, I would be dead already. Nie Ling Long smiled. I'm very grateful toward eldest sister Worryless. Then as her younger sister, why did you purposefully break Worryless Nie's records at Scarlet Flames Academy? Yi Wanwan intentionally asked with a curious expression. Nie Ling Long narrowed her eyes, surveying Yi Wanwan. Before Nie Ling Long could reply, the female mercenary student behind Nie Ling Long snorted and looked at Yi Wanwan. What does that have to do with you? How could an insolent nobody like you comment about our Scarlet Flames Academy's business? The male student also coldly butted in. You should get your roll straight in your head before visiting someone's house. Fuck you. Nameless Nie swung his hand and ruthlessly slapped the top of the male student's head. A second later, the male student flew several meters back and landed harshly on the floor with a bang. Chapter 15:15 Nameless Nie's sudden outburst caught everyone off guard. Even Yi Wanwan froze in her spot. Who do you two little bastards think you are? Is my sworn brother someone you can ridicule? Nameless Nie shouted indignantly while pointing at the two mercenary students. Nameless Nie stared at them. I'll give you 3 seconds. When I count to 1, I'll beat you to death if you're still in front of me. Eldest brother, what are you doing? Nie Ling Long walked forward and looked at Nameless Nie. What bullshit junior brothers and junior sisters do you have? How dare they speak to my friend like this? Nameless Nie said, Eldest brother, they just have straightforward personalities and speak the truth without thinking. How could you have attacked them? Nie Ling Long questioned. Eldest brother, you truly went too far. Worryless Nie also added an agreement by the side. If word of this gets out, what would happen to the Nie family's reputation? What? You both want to revolt? Nameless Nie glanced at Worryless Nie and Nie Ling Long. I'm the oldest brother in this family. Whatever I say goes. If you don't respect the friends I bring back, that's slapping my face. Don't blame me for skinning you too. Nameless Nie coldly declared. Yi Wanwan dazedly stared at Nameless Nie. His sense of protection is freaking brimming to the max. Why didn't I find out about this before? Should I treat him better in the future? Nameless Nie, you're acting rudely. Madame Nie suddenly reproached. Mom, my friend was just randomly chatting about domestic trivia. How is that? Nameless Nie asked her. I'm calling you insolent, not Wanwan. Madame Nie frowned. I've been insolent since I was born. Nameless Nie snorted, but he didn't say anything else. We'll leave now, the two mercenary students said to Nie Linglong and Madame Nie. Before leaving, they fiercely glared at Yi Wanwan and studied her face before leaving the Nie residence without looking back. Miss Wanwan, we have business at home today, so please head back now. We won't be seeing you out, Worryless Nie said coldly while staring at Yi Wanwan. Before Yi Wanwan could reply, Madame Nie countered. Since you're here already, you should stay for lunch. Tainang should be back soon. Mom, Nie Linglong looked at Madame Nie with incomprehension. This is your brother's friend. Don't be so rude. Madame Nie's brows were closely furrowed together. Even Madame Nie herself didn't understand why her affections for Yi Wanwan grew the more she looked at her, or why she wanted Yi Wanwan to stay longer. Thank you, Annie. Yi Wanwan smiled sweetly at Madame Nie. A smile automatically spread across Madame Nie's face when she saw Yi Wanwan's beam. All right, Wanwan, Nameless said you're sworn brothers with him just now? Madame Nie asked all of a sudden. Yi Wanwan was startled. When did she become sworn brothers with Nameless Nie? It was all made up by Nameless Nie. However, since Madame Nie asked, Yi Wanwan couldn't make Nameless Nie lose face, so she nodded and replied, yes. Brother Nameless and I are sworn brothers. Ah. Madame Nie contemplated for a moment before suggesting, since it's like that, how about I adopt you as my foster daughter, Wanwan? Disbelief filled the faces of Nie Linglong and Worryless Nie when they heard that. The madam of the Nie family wanted to adopt this woman as a foster daughter? What kind of joke was this? Yi Wanwan herself was also astonished. They just met, but Madame Nie wanted to take her in as a foster daughter. Chapter 15-16 Yi Wanwan was stuck in a daze. Madame Nie's decision to adopt her as a foster daughter came too suddenly. She was completely caught off guard. Before Yi Wanwan could say anything, Worryless Nie frowned at Madame Nie. Mom, you're the madam of the Nie family. It's no small matter for you to adopt a foster daughter. Moreover, this is your first time meeting Miss Wanwan. You don't know her well enough. How could you adopt her so easily? Mom, Sister Worryless is right. We should wait until Dad is back and discuss this matter before deciding. Nie Linglong hastily interjected as well. What nonsense are you two saying? Nameless Nie glanced at his two sisters before turning to his mother and grinning. Mom, I think Wanwan is rather nice. With our relationship, it'd be no problem at all for you to adopt her as your foster daughter. But Dad isn't back yet. Isn't this too impulsive? Nie Linglong looked at Worryless Nie as she spoke. Nameless Nie pursed his lips. Dad hasn't come back for a long time. There's an 80% chance he's been seduced by some vixen on the outside. Insolence. A mouthful of nonsense. Madame Nie fiercely glared at Nameless Nie. Yi Wanwan, talking about his father like this. Is Nameless Nie dim-witted? Madame Nie turned to Yi Wanwan and smiled. Wanwan, what do you think? Annie. Yi Wanwan was about to speak when she was interrupted by Madame Nie. It is a bit sudden. So how about you consider it for a few days first, Wanwan? All right. Yi Wanwan nodded. As Nie Linglong was about to say something, the Nie family's steward entered the living room and respectfully said to Madame Nie, Madam, the Shun family's eldest young master is visiting. The Shun family's eldest young master? Madame Nie looked pensive. As one of the 4 great clans of the independent state, the Shun family was loaded with money. There wasn't a single group in the independent state that could compare to them. The independent state revered martial arts, so all the patrician families and factions were immersed in martial arts. However, the Shun family was an exception. They only prioritized business. The entire independent state, from restaurants to real estate and construction, was almost completely monopolized by the Shun family. And the eldest young master of the Shun family was the heir. God of wealth is here. Nameless Nie became elated. Hurry, hurry, and invite him inside. The steward nodded and quickly left. A moment later, a young man wearing cyan form-fitting clothes sauntered into the Nie residence's living room. Ha, old pal Shin, long time no see. Nameless Nie hastily walked forward to greet eldest young Master Shun as soon as he entered. Brother Nie here, a greeting gift. Eldest young Master Shun took out a bar of gold and handed it to Nameless Nie. Old pal Shun. Nameless Nie looked displeased. What are you doing? What are we? We're sworn brothers. Why are you giving me a gold bar for nothing? Aren't you slapping my face? Don't do this next time. As Nameless Nye finished speaking, he hastily put away the gold bar. Brother Nye, I understand. I'll give you a gold brick next time. Eldest young master Shin quickly replied. Yuan, where did this oddball come from? Come, you've worked hard, steward. Eldest young master Shun took out a gold bar and handed it to the elderly steward. Thank you, eldest young master Shun. The elderly man nodded at the young man in thanks. The elderly steward was already used to eldest young master Shun giving him gold bars or cash every time he visited. Chapter 1517. 1517 Come, worryless Ling Long. Long time no see. Take your greeting gifts. Eldest young master Shin walked to them. Thanks, but we're fine, Ling Long said. Pretentious. Eldest young master Shin glanced at them before strolling toward Madame Nye. Nye, here's your greeting gift. Madame Nye was a bit embarrassed as she looked at the gold bar he handed to her, but accepted it in the end. Here, a greeting gift. Take it. Eldest young master Shin walked to Yi Wanwan and lavishly pulled out a gold bar for her. Yi Wanwan, where did this foolish son of the landlord come from? I don't know him at all, but he's going to give me a gold bar without even asking? Thank you. Yi Wanwan smiled at eldest young master Shin and accepted the gold bar unabashedly. Only a fool would decline it. All right, who's this beauty? I've never seen her before. Eldest young master appraised Yi Wanwan up and down. Why did you give me a gold bar if you've never freaking seen me before? Old pal Shin. She's my sworn brother. Nameless Nye replied instantly. Eldest young master Shin nodded and turned to Yi Wanwan. Beautiful miss, do you have a boyfriend? Are you married? Old pal Shin. Why did you come here today? Nameless Nye asked curiously before Yi Wanwan could reply. Good question. Eldest young master Shin beamed. I came to invite you to my breakup banquet. You all have to come. Eldest young master Shin quickly took out invitation cards and handed them to Nameless Nye and the others. Old pal Shin, don't worry. Whoever doesn't go will be a grandson. Nameless Nye was brimming with excitement. Soon, eldest young master Shun distributed the invitations to Nye Ling Long and worryless Nyep as well. Beautiful miss, you should come too. Eldest young master Shun walked to Yi Wanwan. He took out another invitation and handed it to her. Breakup banquet? What the heck is that? Yi Wanwan planned to reject the invitation when Nameless Nye leaned into Yi Wanwan's ear and quietly told her, Sister Famous, this is a moneybags banquet. If you go, they'll give gold bricks and such. I'll definitely come. Yi Wanwan accepted the invitation politely. All right, we have a deal then. Eldest young master Shin nodded and turned to Madame Nye with a smile. Annie Nye, I'll take my leave now. After receiving a response from Madame Nye, he turned and left. As Yi Wanwan watched the landlord's foolish son leave, she couldn't help but marvel inwardly. He's a serious spendthrift. Regardless of how rich the Shin family was, could they endure their eldest young master squandering? He would give out gold bars as greeting gifts and gold bricks for attending his banquet. Wasn't the richest family in the independent state, the Shin family, too extravagant? I've gotten 2 gold bricks this year already. Nameless Nye quietly exclaimed to Yi Wanwan. I've attended his breakup banquet twice this year. This is the 3rd time. Yi Wanwan. Before Yi Wanwan could respond, an immensely familiar voice was heard outside the living room. Soon, Tang Tang, wearing a little black suit with a bow tie, slowly entered the living room with an aloof expression. Grandma, I'm back, Tang Tang greeted as he looked at Madame Nye sitting in the chief seat. Little thing, where did you run off to play? Nameless Nye asked the boy. Tang Tang expressionlessly glanced at Nameless Nye. Uncle, please be mindful of your wording. Chapter 1518 Tang Tang. Yi Wanwan called out softly while looking at the nearby Tang Tang. Tong Tong's expression became obviously startled when he heard Yi Wanwan's voice and reflexively turned to look at her. Disbelief emerged in Tong Tong's detached gaze, which was quickly replaced by excitement and joy. Mommy. Tang Tang immediately walked toward Yi Wanwan and carefully examined her, afraid he was imagining things. Worryless Nye's expression darkened when she heard how Tang Tang addressed her and a cold glint flickered through Nie Linglong's eyes. Blood was truly thicker than water. The real worryless Nie had clearly lost her memories, and Tang Tang also didn't know she was his mother, but he still acted so familiarly with her, and so aloof toward the fake worryless Nie who was pretending to be his mother. Tang Tang, what are you saying? Who are you calling mommy? Worryless Nie stared at Tang Tang with a deep frown. Tang Tang glanced at worryless Nie, but quickly looked away with no desire to pay attention to her. All his attention was focused on Yi Wanwan. Mommy, how come you're here in the independent state? Weren't you in China, mommy? Tang Tang couldn't understand why Yi Wanwan was standing right in front of him. China was too remote from the independent state. Normal people weren't familiar with the independent state, and many people had never even heard of it. Moreover, people who wanted to enter the independent state needed a special permit. I've been here a while. I've wanted to visit Tang Tang for a long time, but it hasn't been convenient, Yi Wanwan replied with a smile. Tang Tang shook his head and said, Mommy, you can treat the Nie residence like your own home and visit me at any time. He turned to nameless Nie and asked, What do you say, uncles? Oh, I shouldn't talk. I'm afraid my wording will be problematic, nameless Nie answered. Tang Tang became expressionless. Are you sure, uncle? If Grandma learns, ha! Nameless Nie laughed before Tang Tang could finish speaking. Little darling, look at what you're saying. Wanwan looked after you for so long in China, so of course she should treat the Nie residence like her own home now that she's in the independent state. Is this even a question? You're too inconsiderate, child. Yi Wanwan, Tang Tang, don't be so inconsiderate. She's not your mom. You can't call people your mom carelessly, Nie Linglong said to Tang Tang. I don't mind having another mommy, Tang Tang said. You don't mind, but your mom minds, Nie Linglong retorted. Linglong, enough. This is all my fault. It's my fault that I was forced to leave home due to an accident and abandon Tang Tang. Worryless Nie looked woeful like she had suffered some immense grievance. Sister Worryless, don't say that. You had your reasons. Anyway, aren't you back now? Nie Linglong comforted her. Nie Linglong turned to Tang Tang. Look at how sad you made your mom, Tang Tang. Before Nie Linglong could say anything more, Madame Nie interrupted with a slight frown. All right, that's enough. Mom. Nie Linglong turned to Madame Nie. It's human nature that he developed affection after Wanwan looked after Tang Tang for so long in China. What? Do you want Tang Tang to be cold-blooded instead? Madame Nie asked worryless Nie and Nie Linglong. Chapter 15:19, Nie Linglong and worryless Nie secretly looked at each other. It appeared Madame Nie was a bit biased now. However, that was fine. There was no way this woman could stay in the Nie residence forever, and they had millions of ways to make Madame Nie and Tang Tang dislike this woman. Soon, Madame Nie told everyone to start eating, and lunch commenced. At the table, Tang Tang kept introducing the Nie family's characteristic dishes to Yi Wanwan. He didn't eat much himself, but picked up nearly all the delicious dishes and placed them into Yi Wanwan's bowl. Worryless Nie and Nie Linglong's face were so dark that ink could start dripping at any second, but they couldn't comment on it too much right now. After lunch, Tang Tang stuck to Yi Wanwan's side and grasped her hand, unwilling to let her go for a single second in fear of Yi Wanwan escaping. Mommy, you should stay here, Tang Tang suggested while looking up at her. Nie Linglong didn't allow Yi Wanwan to respond before interjecting. Tang Tang, don't cause trouble. Your auntie has her own business to attend to. Yi Wanwan smiled softly and said, I don't have much to do these next few days. If Auntie Nie doesn't object, I can stay here to keep Tang Tang company. Tang Tang immediately turned around and looked at Madame Nie pitifully. Grandma. Of course you can, Madame Nie replied with a smile. There aren't any spare rooms in the house, Nie Linglong said with a furrow of her brows. That's fine. Mommy can sleep with me. Both my room and bed are big, Tang Tang retorted coldly. Tang Tang looked at Yi Wanwan. How about you sleep with me, Mommy? Sure. Yi Wanwan nodded. It was only after Yi Wanwan agreed that a smile spread across Tang Tang's face. Wanwan, don't you have something to do this afternoon? Let's go. I'll drive you. Nameless Nie wiped the grease from his mouth and stood up. Yi Wanwan was startled. I have something to do? Nameless Nia walked to Yi Wanwan and quietly said, "Have you forgotten about the Fearless Alliance?" Yi Wanwan finally remembered that her current identity was the president of the Fearless Alliance. Even if she wanted to stay at the Nia residence, she should at least finish dealing with the matters at hand first. "Mommy, when will you be back?" Tang Dang asked with a face full of longing. "Why are you so brokenhearted? Can't you just come with us?" Nameless Nia looked at Tang Dang. Tong Tong's eyes brightened, and he hastily stood up, clutching Yi Wanwan's hand. "Nonsense!" Worryless Nia suddenly stood up. "Eldest brother, how could you allow Tang Dang to go out with a strange woman?" Before Nameless Nia could answer, Tang Dang turned around and coldly glanced at Worryless Nia. "Please mind your words. She's my mommy from China, not a strange woman." "Tang Tang, mommy's just worried about you," protested Worryless Nia. "Then your worries are rather unnecessary," Tang Tang replied. "Enough. Tang Dang is going to be with me. What are you afraid of?" Nameless Nia was very displeased. "Tang Tang, you have to stay with Wanwan and your uncle and can't run off. Do you understand?" Madame Nia said after a moment. "Yes." Tang Dang nodded vehemently. "I understand, Grandma." Since Madame Nia voiced her decision, Nia Linglong and Worryless Nia stopped objecting. Soon, Nameless Nia led Yi Wanwan and Tang Tang out of the Nia residence. After walking through the main entrance, Nameless Nia turned to Yi Wanwan and said, "Boss Famous, my acting is good, right? I still have something to do, so you should take Tang Tang with you and have fun. Also, I don't have any money on me. Can you, Yi Wanwan?" Chapter 1520. 1520. Yi Wanwan glanced at Nameless Nia. She remembered that the filthy, rich money bags of the Shen family gave him a bar of gold. "Don't you have a gold bar?" Yi Wanwan asked. Nameless Nia giggled. "Sister Famous, what are you saying? A gold bar is a gold bar, and money is money. They're clearly two entirely different things." Yi Wanwan nodded and said, "Then give your gold bar to me, and I'll give you money." "Sister Famous." Nameless Nia looked at her, wanting to say something but held back. A while later, Nameless Nia's gaze landed on Tang Tang, and he said with a giant grin, "My little darling, my dear nephew." "No," Tang Tang answered indifferently. "Tang Tang, I'm your uncle." Nameless Nia exclaimed with a frown. "No," Tang Tang repeated. Yi Wanwan looked at Nameless Nia in exasperation. Didn't this fool swear a blood oath that his whole family would die if he used even a cent from the Nia family again? However, technically speaking, Tong Tong's surname wasn't Nia. Unfortunately, they didn't know who Tong Tong's father was. In the end, Yi Wanwan had no choice but to take out a few $100 bills and hand them to Nameless Nia. "Sister Famous, I knew it. With our relationship, there's no way you wouldn't give me some if I asked," Nameless Nia said with a satisfied smile as he accepted the money. Then he drove away without looking back. "Mommy, where are we going?" Tang Dang asked her quietly. "Mommy still has some business to deal with. You just need to follow Mommy, but—" "Tang Tang can't speak carelessly," Yi Wanwan replied. "What do you mean, Mommy?" Tang Tang looked confused. No idea what Yi Wanwan meant by speaking carelessly. Yi Wanwan pondered for a moment before inquiring, "Does Tang Tang know the Fearless Alliance?" Tang Tang nodded lightly. "I know them. They aren't anything good." Yi Wanwan. "Tang Tang, Mommy is currently the president of the Fearless Alliance," Yi Wanwan explained helplessly. "Mommy is Bro Flat Top?" Tang Tang looked surprised. "Yes. Mommy is going to bring Tang Dang to the Fearless Alliance, but Tang Dang can't mention Mommy's past in China, all right?" Yi Wanwan asked with a smile. "Okay." Tang Tang nodded docilely without a trace of his previous little devil personality. Yi Wanwan called a taxi and entered with Tang Dang before directing the driver to head to the Fearless Alliance's headquarters. In the afternoon, Yi Wanwan led Tang Dang into the headquarters of the Fearless Alliance. "Greetings, President." Many Fearless Alliance members immediately walked forward to receive Yi Wanwan when they saw her and reverently greeted her. Yi Wanwan nodded in response and quickly walked into the elevator with Tang Dang in tow. "Who's the child with President Fearless?" A Fearless Alliance member asked with a face full of curiosity. "Could it be he's our president's illegitimate son?" "Look, he shares some similarities with our president," Don't run your mouth off. You'll be dead if the president heard you. Right. Even if he's the president's illegitimate son, we can't speak carelessly. As soon as Yi Wanwan entered the office, Virus and Great White stood up and walked toward her. Yi Wanwan started when she saw them. She'd nearly forgotten the ancestor. Virus was inside the office. Yi Wanwan wasn't worried about Great White since Tang Nang had a good relationship with Great White, but Virus. Chapter 15:21. However, when Yi Wanwan looked at Tang Tang, he didn't exhibit any fear. He even looked joyfully surprised at the sight of Great White. Great White! Tang Tang extended his arms toward Great White. Great White slowly sauntered to Tang Tang's side and sat down. Upon seeing this, Virus also walked to Tang Tang's side and sniffed him. Before Yi Wanwan could say something, the office's doors were pushed open and Big Dipper and 7-Star entered. "Sis Fong, you're back!" Big Dipper exclaimed as he entered the office and quickly caught sight of Tang Dang, standing next to Yi Wanwan. "Damn, Sis Fong, who's this child?" Big Dipper was startled. "Mommy, he's very noisy," Tang Dang said to Yi Wanwan. When Tang Dang said mommy, even 7-Star was astonished, let alone Big Dipper. "And mommy?" Big Dipper froze on the spot. Did he discover some kind of gigantic, shocking secret? There's Sis Fong, Bro Flat Top, the president of the Fearless Alliance. Actually, freaking had a son that was this old. 7-Star, did you hear that? That child called Sis Fong mommy just now. Wait, did I imagine it? Could it be that I miss my mom too much since I haven't seen her for a few days? Big Dipper turned to 7-Star. 7-Star glanced at him. You probably aren't that filial. Big Dipper, you didn't imagine it, 7-Star added. Damn, Sis Fong, you actually have a son this old? Big Dipper glanced at Tang Tang before looking at Yi Wanwan and examining her. You do look a bit similar. Sis Fong, who did you have a son with? Before Yi Wanwan could respond, Big Dipper's expression shifted. Could it have been Emperor Ji? I think it's more likely to be Lord Azura. 7-Star was pensive. What? Sis Fong and Lord Azura secretly had a son together? Big Dipper cried out. No wonder Sis Fong and Lord Azura. Big Dipper clucked his tongue. Yi Wanwan glanced at Big Dipper and 7-Star, disinclined to explain anything to them. Ah! Big Dipper walked toward Tang Dang and knelt down in front of the child. He stared at Tang Dang and grinned. This little urchin has a rather exquisite face. Come, give Big Brother a hug. Tang Dang merely glanced at Big Dipper before turning to Yi Wanwan. Mommy, you've worked hard? Yi Wanwan was startled and reflexively asked, What did I work hard on? Mommy has to work with dim-wits like this every day. Tang Dang answered expressionlessly. Yi Wanwan, Big Dipper, 7-Star, Sis Fong, isn't your son too arrogant? Why did he call 7-Star a dimwit for no reason? Big Dipper questioned indignantly. 7-Star glanced at Big Dipper. He's talking about you. My son has always been this arrogant. Yi Wanwan stared at Big Dipper. Before Big Dipper could protest, a knock rang on the door. Enter, Yi Wanwan called out. Third Elder, Li Si, opened the door and strode into the office. President, Li Si respectfully greeted Yi Wanwan. What is it, Third Elder? Asked Yi Wanwan. Well, the eldest young master of the Shen family wants to see the president, Third Elder answered honestly. Yi Wanwan was surprised. Eldest young master Shun wanted to see the president of the Fearless Alliance? That was rather strange. Yi Wanwan could understand why that filthy rich moneybags went to the Nye residence, but the Fearless Alliance once stole money from the Shen family. Logically speaking, the Fearless Alliance and the Shun family should have a hostile relationship. So why did the filthy rich young Master Shun want to see her? Chapter 15:22. 15:22 Sis Fong. The visitors definitely aren't friendly. The Shun family must be here to seek retribution. Big Dipper quickly said. How many people from the Shin family are here? Yi Wanwan asked Third Elder. Not many, just 7 or 8, Third Elder answered. 7 or 8 people? Then they probably weren't here for retribution. If they were, they would have simply charged inside without a word. Moreover, the filthy rich Shun family gave her a bar of gold as a greeting gift. So they probably wouldn't insist on splitting hairs about the past, right? All right, got it. Yuan nodded. Bring eldest young Master Shun into my office in 5 minutes. Understood? Li Si nodded and retreated. Ever since Yi Wanwan got drunk last time, Li Si had thrown away all his suspicions about Yi Wanwan and wholeheartedly considered Yi Wanwan the president of the Fearless Alliance and believed in her unconditionally. After Li Si left, Yi Wanwan switched into a black outfit, wore a French-style aristocratic hat, and covered the lower half of her face with a black veil. Eldest young Master Shun saw her at the Nye residence earlier, so she couldn't allow him to recognize her. She also had Tang Tang stay hidden on the side. 5 minutes later, eldest young master led 7 or 8 men into Yi Wanwan's office. So you're President Fearless? Eldest young Master Shun hid behind his entourage of experts and only revealed a pair of eyes as he appraised Yi Wanwan. May I ask why eldest young Master Shun is visiting me today? Yi Wanwan sounded apathetic. President Fearless, back then, you stole from our Shun family's wealth, so you must be feeling guilty and immensely scared to see me today, right? Eldest young Master Shun shouted loudly as he hid behind his guards. Who's afraid of whom? All those experts you brought here must be responsible for protecting you, right? You're hiding behind other people, but calling me scared? Did eldest young Master Shin come here today simply to ask me if I'm scared? Yi Wanwan asked. President Bai, in truth, you don't need to be too scared. Our Shin family has nothing but money. No one in the Shin family actually remembers that you stole money from the Shin family, eldest young Master Shin said. Big Dipper interjected. If no one remembers, why did you mention that we stole money from you as soon as you entered? I wager you remember better than anyone. Eldest young Master Shin, what do you want? Why don't you speak frankly instead of beating around the bush? Yi Wanwan was rather exasperated. Why did the landlord's foolish son come here? Eldest young Master Shun waved his hand and gestured for the accompanying experts to move aside. Heh, our Shun family places the greatest importance on manners. I'm visiting the Fearless Alliance today, and it's my first time meeting everyone today, so I can't be lacking in greeting gifts. Eldest young Master Shin took out a bar of gold immediately and handed it to 7 Star. Here, take it. Don't be polite. 7 Star. 7 Star turned to Yi Wanwan and only accepted it after seeing Yi Wanwan nod. Thank you, young Master Shin. Come, you have one too. Eldest young Master Shin stuffed a gold bar into Big Dipper's hand. Brother Shin? Big Dipper looked at him. Brother Shin, why are you so polite? From now on, we're brothers. You're the elder brother, and I'm the younger brother. If you need anything, just tell me, Brother Shin. What's your phone number, Brother Shin? Here's my number. Yi Wanwan face-bombed as she watched Big Dipper. What a disgrace. Come, President Bai. Here's yours. Eldest young Master Shin promptly walked forward and handed a gold bar to Yi Wanwan. Chapter 15:23 Yi Wanwan accepted the gold bar with a beam. Young Master Shin, you're truly too polite. Oh, right, my 2 good friends are here too. Eldest young Master Shin was startled. Where are they? Tell them to come out. Great White, Little Black. Yi Wanwan immediately called toward a corner of the office. Virus and Great White both yawned and leisurely sauntered toward them. Eldest young Master Shin, sis phone? You're much. Why do Great White and Virus need a greeting gift? Big Dipper spun around to look at eldest young Master Shin. Brother Shin, my mom was hit by a car earlier and is currently in the hospital. How about you wait a moment, and I'll make a trip to the hospital and bring my mom here. Get lost. Yi Wanwan yelled at Big Dipper. Big Dipper looked embarrassed and didn't say anything else. Li Si, Yi Wanwan called. Third elder pushed open the door. What are your instructions, President? Eldest young Master Shun wants to give you a greeting gift, Yi Wanwan said. Ah! Li Si was taken back. He hadn't had any interactions with eldest young Master Shin. So what did the president mean by a greeting gift? Before Li Si could think further, a gold bar appeared in front of him. Li Si reflexively accepted the gold bar and weighed it in his hand. Ha! Eldest young Master Shin, you're too polite. Coming here to visit was fine, but why did you bring presents? Eldest young Master Shin There are many brothers inside the fearless alliance still, Li Si said to eldest young Master Shun with a bright smile. Third elder, how could you be like this? My brother Shin might be rich, but he shouldn't be used like this. Big Dipper smiled at the dumbfounded eldest young Master Shun and said, Brother Shin, my mom is still at the hospital. Enough. Yi Wanwan impatiently waved her hand. If news of this got out, where would the Fearless Alliance put their face? Did the Fearless Alliance lack money? Although the Fearless Alliance's finances were a bit tight lately, they had to maintain their image. Young Master Shun, don't worry. We were just joking with you. Our Fearless Alliance isn't greedy for money. Yi Wanwan comforted with a smile. Eldest young Master Shun was enraged instantly. What do you mean, President Bai? Does our Shin family lack money? Do I lack money? The Shin family has nothing except for money. You're looking down on me. Fine then. Yi Wanwan was exasperated and turned to Li Si. Go and summon all of the brothers and sisters in the Fearless Alliance here. Eldest young Master Shun has greeting gifts for them. Before Li Si could answer, eldest young Master Shun laughed and interrupted, No, I didn't bring so many bars of gold this time. Next time? Next time? All right. Did young Master Shin come here today just to give us greeting gifts? Yi Wanwan asked. President Bai, the Shin family is holding a banquet in 3 days. At that time, all the famous big shots of the independent state will come. So please attend as well, President Bai. Eldest young Master Shun proceeded to take out several invitations and handed them to Yi Wanwan and the others. Breakup banquet. Yi Wanwan's lips twitched. Did eldest young Master Shun have to make it so that everyone in the independent state knew about a mere breakup? Did he find it honorable? As long as you attend the Shun family's banquet, you'll receive luxurious presents, eldest young Master Shun said jubilantly. Big Dipper's eyes brightened, and he grabbed eldest young Master Shun's hand. Brother Shun, give me 2 invitations. I also want to attend. Eldest young Master Shun stared at Big Dipper with scrutiny. He only wanted to invite famous big shots in the independent state, though. Chapter 1524, Unable to withstand Big Dipper's pitiful begging, eldest young Master Shin ended up helplessly handing him 2 invitations for the breakup banquet. Brother Shin, take care. Call me if you need me. Big Dipper stood at the door and called out to eldest young Master Shin's back. Yi Wanwan was rendered speechless by Big Dipper's behavior. Big Dipper was probably nameless Nie's biological long-lost brother. One for you, one for me. Big Dipper took out 1 invitation and handed it to 7 Star. 7 Star, Sis Fong, eldest young Master Shun, is truly a money bag. We have to stay in close contact with Brother Shin from now on, Big Dipper said to Yi Wanwan. Yi Wanwan glanced at him, but didn't respond. Sis Fong, are you going to the Shun family's banquet? 7 Star asked her. Yi Wanwan pondered over it for a moment before replying. Since he gave us invitations, of course we have to go. Nonsense. We'll get extravagant presents if we go to the Shun family's banquet. Didn't you hear Brother Shun say he'll give presents to anyone who comes? Whoever isn't going, give me your invitations, Big Dipper quickly said. After Big Dipper and 7 Star left, Tang Tang walked out from his hiding spot and sat next to Yi Wanwan docilely. Yi Wanwan was currently taking care of some documents concerning the Fearless Alliance. Mommy, Tang Tang called out softly as he looked at the documents in her hands. Yi Wanwan looked up. What is it, Tang Tang? There are some problems with the documents Mommy just finished, Tang Tang replied. Huh? Yi Wanwan was startled. Some problems? But she didn't think there were any problems. Tang Tang pulled one of the documents back out and said, Mommy, the Ling family is located in the Prison Alliance's territory. If the Fearless Alliance wants to attack the Ling family, they would have to obtain Prison's agreement, or else it'll result in great trouble. Yi Wanwan, Tong Tong's too awesome. Mommy didn't notice. Yi Wanwan couldn't resist pinching Tong Tong's fair and delicate cheeks. Most of the daily affairs concerning the Fearless Alliance mostly involved attacking some faction, but Yi Wanwan wasn't proficient in this area. She was thankful for Tong Tong's reminder today, or else she would have provoked a disaster. Mommy, it looks like your skills in handling business affairs aren't too great. So can Tang Tang work with Mommy at the Fearless Alliance from now on? Tang Tang asked while looking at Yi Wanwan. Yi Wanwan didn't know how to reply. She wanted to bring Tang Tang to the Fearless Alliance to work every day, but the Nie family definitely wouldn't allow it. After Yi Wanwan finished taking care of all the tedious business, she drove Tang Tang and herself back to the Nie district. That night, Yi Wanwan stayed in Tang Tang's room. In the next few days, Yi Wanwan went to the Fearless Alliance during the day and returned to the Nie residence to keep Tang Tang company in the evening. She didn't forget about piece of shit Ishuahin's request, but the investigation was a bit difficult. Yi Wanwan couldn't figure out where to start. In truth, the simplest method was to check their DNA, but Yi Wanwan learned that Worryless Niep already had her DNA checked, and it matched with Madame Nie and Patriarch Nie's DNA and proved she was Tang Tang's biological mother. If Yi Wanwan only based the investigation off of that, Worryless Nie wasn't a fake. Ishuayan wasn't dumb, though, so he probably knew they checked their DNA already. So why did he still request her help to investigate? Chapter 1525. 1525 late at night. Yi Wanwan laid on the bed while embracing Tang Tang. She called out softly, "Tang Tang, Mommy, I'm not asleep yet." Tang Tang replied quickly, "Don't you like your mommy, Tang Tang?" Yi Wanwan asked with a tinge of confusion. Tang Tang hugged Yi Wanwan tightly. "Tang Tang likes mommy. I'm talking about your biological mom," Yi Wanwan said. Tang Tang sunk into silence. A moment later, he said, "It's not that I dislike my biological mommy. I just like you more, mommy." Yi Wanwan smacked a kiss on Tang Tang's cheek. Immediately, Tang Tang returned a kiss on her cheek. "Tang Tang, what was your mom like before?" Yi Wanwan asked. "Mommy left as soon as I was born," Tang Tang answered. Yi Wanwan's heart ached as she looked at Tang Tang. Poor baby Tang Tang, he didn't have parents since he was born. Paternal and maternal love were probably very strange to him, huh? For some reason, Yi Wanwan wanted to give everything she had to Tang Tang, but unfortunately, she didn't have anything. Although she knew she wasn't Tang Tang's biological mother, she had an indescribable feeling toward Tang Tang from the first time she met him. Yi Wanwan herself didn't know why, but she inexplicably treated him like her own son. Yi Wanwan would often even think about how good it'd be if Tang Tang was really her child. "Tang Tang, did you and your mom check your DNA?" Yi Wanwan asked. "It was checked before she returned home. There weren't any problems," Tang Tang answered. Yi Wanwan nodded. That was somewhat strange then. Or perhaps Worryless Nie wasn't a fake, and Ishuahan was merely overly cautious? If even Worryless Nie's DNA was verified, what was there for her to investigate? Wouldn't she be making a mountain out of a molehill? However, if someone dared to pretend to be a daughter of the Nie family, they must have made adequate preparations beforehand. So could the DNA be wrong or faked? Yi Wanwan thought to herself, if her guess was true, and even the Nie family, one of the four great clans of the independent state, was deceived, then this matter definitely wouldn't be so simple. If that Worryless Nie was truly fake and she relentlessly pursued it, her life might be at risk. Yi Wanwan was lost in thought for a moment. Who am I right now? The president of the Fearless Alliance. I'm one of the most infamous people in the independent state, bro flat top / by phone. People are afraid of me. How could I be afraid of other people instead? Moreover, the Fearless Alliance is now completely under my control, and all of the camps have pledged allegiance to me. As long as the real bro flat top doesn't come back, I'm by phone. Even if I relentlessly pursue this matter and, to take it further, brazenly investigate this matter, who would dare to cause trouble with my Fearless Alliance? All right, Tang Tang, can mommy ask for your help with something? Yi Wanwan quietly asked while looking at Tang Tang. Yes, mommy, tell me. Tang Tang nodded. Yi Wanwan leaned close to Tang Tang's ear. Tang Tang looked a bit astonished when he heard what she said. Mommy, why do you want that? Be good, Tang Tang. Mommy can't tell you yet, but can Tang Tang do it? Yi Wanwan smiled. Chapter 1526. 1526. Tang Tang mulled over it for a moment before agreeing. Yes, I can do it. Tang Tang must remember that this is a secret between Tang Tang and mommy. Tang Tang can't tell everyone, understand? Yi Wanwan emphasized. Yes, I understand, Tang Tang replied. Only then did Yi Wanwan resolve a troublesome matter. No matter what, she couldn't treat any matter regarding Tang Tang lightly. It would be fine if that worryless Niao was real. If she was a fake, the thought was terrifying. As long as Tang Tang did as she said, the truth of the matter would be known. She could give Yi Shuihan an answer even if that worryless Niao was the real thing. The next day, after Yi Wanwan reviewed the documents at the Fearless Alliance, she didn't return to the Nie residence and drove to the Shun district instead. Shun district, the home of the Shun family, one of the independent state's 4 great clans. Yi Wanwan looked at the invitation in her hand. She followed the address written on the invitation and parked near the Shun residence. As soon as Yi Wanwan exited the car, a group of men in well-ironed suits immediately walked forward and shouted, "No parking near the Shun residence." However, before Yi Wanwan could respond, one of the men caught glimpse of the invitation in Yi Wanwan's hand. "Apologies. Are you here to attend the banquet?" The arrogance disappeared from the man's face. Yi Wanwan nodded. "Eldest young master Shun's breakup banquet. Oh, it's a misunderstanding. Please follow me." The man smiled courteously and bowed as he made a pleased gesture with his arm. Many pretty women from the independent state would loiter around the Shun residence, especially during banquets. Nearly all the people attending the Shun family's banquet were famous, powerful figures in the independent state, so women could live the rest of their lives worry-free if they managed to fish one or two. They had just arrived in the Shun residence's proximity when the man's phone started ringing. "Apologies," the man looked at Yi Wanwan, embarrassed. "No worries," Yi Wanwan replied. After gaining her permission, the man accepted the call. "What are you saying, eldest young master? You want me to go and receive Lord Azura?" "I'm receiving a lady right now." The man's expression shifted. Yi Wanwan was immediately interested at the mention of Lord Azura. Could it be that eldest young master Shin even managed to invite Lord Azura to his breakup banquet? "What? Emperor Ji as well? You want me to receive Emperor Ji as well?" Yi Wanwan's lips twitched. She had probably underestimated this landlord's foolish son. Not only did he invite her, the president of the Fearless Alliance, but he also invited Lord Azura. He even managed to get a hold of Ji Shiran. What a great accomplishment. "Honorable lady, apologies, but can you please wait for me here?" Eldest young master ordered me to bring over 2 important guests first. "May I?" The man inquired while looking at her after hanging up. "Sure, no worries. Do what you need first." Yi Wanwan agreed with a nod. "Honorable lady, wait here and don't walk around carelessly. Also, don't enter the Shun residence by yourself. The Shun residence is too large, so you definitely get lost without my guidance." Then the man left without looking back. Yi Wanwan, why did it sound a bit patronizing? The Shun residence was too large, so she'd get lost? What kind of meme is that? After the male host left, Yi Wanwan patiently waited by the sidewalk. Don't tell me he's going to bring over both Lord Azura and Ji Shiran in a bit. Chapter 1527. Before Yi Wanwan could ponder over it anymore, she was shoved from behind. Yi Wanwan turned around and stared at the prettily dressed young girls in front of her. "What?" Yi Wanwan furrowed her brows. She didn't know or recognize these girls. "Ah, don't you know the rules?" One of the good-looking girls glanced at Yi Wanwan. "You're dressed so innocent and cute. Are you planning to hook some men near the Shin residence too? What pen did a pheasant like you crawl out of? Don't you know first come, first served? Who allowed you to stand here?" Yi Wanwan turned pensive when she heard that. Nameless Niao once mentioned that dozens of decent-looking girls would dress meticulously every time the Shin family held a banquet, then loiter near the Shin residence. If they could run into a romantic relationship, by chance, they might be able to soar to success. It appeared these girls were those girls who considered themselves decent-looking mentioned by Nameless Nia. Based on their tone, it appeared they thought she was like them. The leading girl snorted and said as she stared at Yi Wanwan, "You have good looks, but unfortunately, you don't know how to behave properly. It wouldn't be good if your face was scratched." Yi Wanwan swept her eyes over them, but couldn't scrounge up even a tinge of desire to acknowledge them. "Bitch, Sis Zhou is talking to you. Are you deaf? Haven't you heard of Yun City's Zhou family? Don't you know the eldest miss of the Zhou family? A girl shouted while glaring at Yuan. Nearly all these girls came from patrician families and could be considered socialites, but they were as different as day and night from those truly prestigious patrician families and weren't qualified to attend a Shin family's banquets, so they could only linger outside. And rumors claimed that eldest young Master Shun's ex-girlfriend was also a girl that lingered outside like them. Little sis, your target couldn't possibly be eldest young Master Shun, right? The leading girl questioned coldly. However, Yuan silently stood in her spot and didn't respond to them. If you're planning to go after eldest young Master Shin, I'm advising you to give up now. Eldest young Master Shan is mine. Do you understand? The leading girl sneered. Yuan wasn't paying attention to what these women were saying at all, though. Her eyes were locked onto the distance. Ji Shiran was dressed in a casual outfit and had a faint smile on his lips. Meanwhile, the man to the left of Ji Shiran wore an aloof expression, and his eyes looked like they harbored a millennium-old glacier. As soon as the two men appeared, the girls around her gasped in shock. That's Ji Shiran, Emperor Ji. Who's the man next to Emperor Ji? So handsome. I heard Lord Azura was also coming tonight. Someone who could walk next to Emperor Ji. He can't be the legendary Lord Azura, right? Lord Azura? The Master of Azura, one of the three core factions of prison, Lord Azura. Says Zhou, look, Emperor Ji and Lord Azura are heading toward us. Says Zhou, Emperor Ji is looking at you. My God. The leading woman smiled faintly and tried to maintain her grace. If it's Emperor Ji, then I don't want eldest young Master Shin anymore, says Zhou. Emperor Ji really is looking at you. He's also walking toward us. The girls looked head over heels with excitement. However, to everyone's shock, this group stopped in front of that woman who didn't know the rules. Honorable lady, I've made you wait a long time. My sincere apologies. The male host from the Shin family quickly apologized as soon as he reached Yuan. No worries, Yuan replied. Xiao Feng, you're here. Ji Shiran greeted Yuan. All the socialites around them froze in their spots, incredulous. Yes, Yuan nodded. Yuan's eyes landed on Si Yin. Lord Azura is in a rather good mood. I didn't expect to see you at eldest young Master Shin's breakup banquet today. Si Yin looked at her. President Bai Feng is in a better mood. The women standing behind Yuan were dumbstruck when they heard Lord Azura speak. Sis Zhou and her groupies turned to Yuan incredulously. Bai Feng? The president of the Fearless Alliance. Bai Feng. Chapter 15:28. The women around Yuan froze in their spots and turned to Yuan incredulously. They originally thought this woman was the same as them. Who would have expected her to be an honored guest invited by the Shun family? More than that, she knew Emperor Ji, and Lord Azura called her President Bai Feng. Bai Feng, the leader of the Independent States' Fearless Alliance. Sis Zhou looked terrified and ghastly pale. What did she do to bro flat top of the Fearless Alliance? President Bai. Sis Zhou's voice was brimming with panic and distress. However, before Sis Zhou could finish speaking, Yuan walked forward with the Shin group without looking back, as though she didn't hear her. An uproar erupted after the group walked into the distance. My God! That woman is the founder of the Fearless Alliance, Bro Flat Top, Bai Feng. Rumors say Bro Flat Top kills people without blinking, and there aren't any factions who are willing to offend her easily. I didn't expect Bai Feng to be so young. I originally thought Bai Feng was vicious and malicious, looking with a body full of muscles. This doesn't match at all. This woman wearing a white dress with high heels, who was as beautiful as blooming begonias, was actually Bro Flat Top. Some nearby socialites turned to Sis Zhou and her group and snorted. Miss Zhou, what are you afraid of? What level and status is Bai Feng, the president of the Fearless Alliance? Why would she seek retribution from you? She probably thought you were heir the entire time. That's right. She's suicidal, putting on airs so haughtily without knowing the other person's identity. She thinks she's all that, but even the entire Zhou family would bow and scrape if they met a member of the Fearless Alliance. Yet, Miss Zhou dared to yell at President Fearless like that. Is she asking for death? Heh. Bai Feng is a ferocious beast, a tiger. How could you possibly focus on a dog? Don't be so delusional and think President Bai Feng would seek revenge from you. How ridiculous. Sis Zhou's expression shifted again and again as she listened to the ridicule from the socialites around her, but couldn't rebut anything. At the same time, the hosts of the Shun family led Yi Wanwan, Ji Shiran, and Lord Azura toward the Shun residence. They didn't talk much on the way there. The three of them walked side by side, and Yi Wanwan naturally walked next to Ji Shiran, obviously showcasing who she was familiar and unfamiliar with. Xiao Feng, you should come home for a meal when you're free, Ji Shiran said with a light chuckle. Yi Wanwan was startled briefly and nodded in agreement. Sure. Lord Azura's frosty eyes swept over Ji Shiran. Akin to a light breeze running over the surface of the ocean, Ji Shiran's light-colored eyes turned to look at the girl, who was dressed in a completely different style than before. Yi Wanwan turned to look at him when she detected his gaze. What? Ji Shiran examined the girl. Your attire today. Yi Wanwan raised her brows. What? Is it really strange? Ji Shiran replied, It's very beautiful, right? I also think so. Yi Wanwan nodded in satisfaction. She didn't believe there were men who weren't suckers for dainty and fragile flowers. At least Yi Yihan would gulp up this act. Back then, she just needed to feign some delicacy and weakness, and her pacification would double in effect. Chapter 1529. Ji Shiran chuckled lightly. I've never seen you dressed like this. Yi Wanwan purposefully glanced at Lord Azura before matter-of-factly saying, Because a girl will doll herself up for a man who loves her. Ji Shiran smiled, but didn't say anything. As for a certain someone, the dead branch he accidentally stepped on just happened to turn into powder. Yi Wanwan secretly peeked at the man who looked frosty and expressionless, but the aura around him was clearly becoming stifling. As expected, her instincts were right. As long as Emperor Ji was present, a certain someone was more prone to exposing his flaws. A moment later, the parade of people arrived at the entrance to the Shun residence. Yi Wanwan's lips twitched when she saw the expansive Shun residence, stretching farther than her eyes could see. Was this a residence? This was a freaking palace, right? Yi Wanwan finally understood why that male host said she would get lost in the Shun residence. The sight of the Shun estate rendered her speechless. In front of the Shun estate were two enormous dragon-shaped statues that stretched about 100 meters long and reached dozens of meters in height. They resembled real dragons, vivid and detailed. As Yi Wanwan became engrossed in the two dragon statues, a portly middle-aged man with a prosperous look strolled out of the building and greeted Si Yihan and Ji Shiran with a benevolent smile. Ah, Emperor Ji, an honored guest. It's truly been a long time. Thank you for attending the Shun family's banquet today. Your presence brings light to my humble dwelling. What are you saying, Uncle Shun? It's my honor to be able to attend the Shun family's banquet. Ji Shiran chuckled lightly. Haha, Emperor Ji is too kind. Patriarch Shun laughed heartily and turned to Lord Azura. Lord Azura, we haven't seen each other for many years, so we must share a few extra drinks today. How about it? Si Yihan nodded at Patriarch Shun and said, Uncle Shun is too polite. Since you're the one asking, I'll oblige, of course. In the independent state, every faction, regardless of its size, had an economic connection with the Shun family, so even the martial arts union would show some degree of respect to the Shun family. Yi Wanwan couldn't help but marvel at the portly middle-aged man. Patriarch Shun didn't put on any airs and was truly friends with every faction. No wonder he controlled the economic lifeline of the independent state and was able to expand his business into every corner of the independent state. Haha, Emperor Ji, Lord Azura, quickly follow me. I've prepared a magnificent gift for the two of you. After Patriarch Shun said that, he grabbed Lord Azura and Ji Shiran's hands with familiarity and led them into the Shun residence. Yi Wanwan watched as Patriarch Shun left while holding Lord Azura's hand with one hand and Ji Shiran's with the other hand. Why did this feel a bit weird? Honorable lady, Please show us your invitation, a Shin family attendant said to Yi Wanwan with a smile. Yi Wanwan immediately handed her invitation to the woman. Before the woman could say anything, eldest young Master Shin suddenly walked to their spot, his eyes emitting light as he intently stared at Yi Wanwan and shook his head while clucking his tongue. Beautiful miss, we meet again. I'm truly happy to see you. If you didn't come, my banquet would have been utterly meaningless, eldest young Master Shin said to Yi Wanwan in an over-the-top manner. The breakup banquet you're holding doesn't have a freaking thing to do with whether I come or not, okay? Here, take this. Eldest young Master Shin took out a bank card from somewhere and handed it to Yi Wanwan. This, Yi Wanwan was bewildered as she stared at the bank card stuffed into her hand. Chapter 1530, It doesn't have a PIN code. Eldest young Master Shin said. No, I'm saying, use it however you want, he added. Yi Wanwan, is this my gift for attending the banquet? Yi Wanwan asked with a frown. Of course. Everyone has one, but some people get gold bricks while other people get jewelry, a house, or a car. You, though, you get a bank card. Eldest young Master Shin looked immensely proud. Let me kneel before you, Lord Moneybags. Come, beautiful miss. Let me show you the guardian deities in front of my house. Eldest young Master Shun acted like a peacock displaying his tail feathers. He eagerly trailed after Yi Wanwan and introduced the two vivid, realistic-looking dragons standing in front of the Shin residence to her. What eldest young Master Shun didn't notice was two pairs of eyes imperceptibly glancing at him, and Yi Wanwan frequently. He just felt a chill run down his back for some reason. Years ago, my father had a famous master sculpt these statues. The materials aren't typical at all. Do you know how much one dragon costs? Eldest young Master Shun asked Yi Wanwan. How much? Yi Wanwan was curious. This dragon looked like it would cost at least 2 million probably. Seriously filthy rich. Eldest young Master Shun put out 5 fingers. 5 million? Yi Wanwan was startled. Wasn't this too freaking extravagant? Plus 10. Eldest young Master Shin chuckled. 1 million? Yi Wanwan asked. Eldest young Master Shun shook his head. 50 million? That's not called plus 10. That's freaking called times 10. In other words, just the 2 dragon statues in front of the Shun residence's entrance cost 100 million. How about you give these 2 statues to me? Yi Wanwan asked as she turned to eldest young Master Shin. The young master started, as though he didn't expect Yi Wanwan to suggest that. If you want them, I can hire a famous master to sculpt 2 for you. These are old now. How can I give old ones to you? Don't. I'm just joking. Please don't take it seriously. Yi Wanwan hastily refused. Even if this landlord's foolish son really made 2 for her, she wouldn't have anywhere to put them. Moreover, the cost was astronomical. She couldn't accept it. Ha, old pal Shin. Before Yi Wanwan could continue, Nameless Nye appeared behind her and cupped his fists at eldest young Master Shin. Brother Nye, here, this is yours. Eldest young Master Shin promptly took out a brick of gold and handed it to Nameless Nye. Look at you, old pal Shin. You're so polite in spite of our familiarity. Nameless Nye looked displeased, but he quickly put away the gold brick. Sister Famous, you also came? Only after putting away the gold brick did he notice Yi Wanwan. I just arrived, Yi Wanwan answered. Yi Wanwan was about to ask Nameless Nye if Tang Tang was home when several groups of young men and women holding themselves ramrod straight walked toward them. Scarlet Flames Academy, Stars and Sun Academy, Dawn Clouds Academy. Waves of gas were heard around them when people saw these groups. These 3 groups of young men and women were all at least SS-level mercenary students in the 3 great mercenary academies. Some people even discovered SSS-level mercenary students in there. Senior Brother Shin, we've arrived. I wish you a happy breakup. An SS-level mercenary student from Scarlet Flames tried to conjecture words of congratulations for half a day, but couldn't find anything suitable. So he had no choice but to bless eldest young Master Shin truthfully with an embarrassed expression. Senior Brother Shin? Yi Wanwan was surprised. She quietly asked Nameless Nye. Eldest young Master Shin is also a student of Scarlet Flames Academy. Chapter 1531 Nameless Nya nodded. Of course. Don't underestimate old pal Shun, but he's one of the few SSS-level mercenaries at Scarlet Flames Academy. 3S level? Yi Wanwan looked surprised and started to re-examine eldest young Master Shin. 3S level could be considered the peak of martial arts already. Unless they encountered top bosses in the independent state, they could do whatever they wanted. There were even some top 3S level mercenaries who could challenge the top bosses of the independent state and defeat them. Of course, piece of shit Ishuean was an exception to this. Yi Wanwan couldn't help but feel confused. Didn't people previously say that the Shun family was only composed of businessmen, and they didn't emphasize martial arts? So why was the eldest young master of the Shin family a 3S level mercenary student at the Scarlet Flames Academy? She would have a whole new level of respect for eldest young Master Shin from now on. Hey, what did I tell you? Don't refer to me as Senior Brother Shun. Call me by my mercenary alias. Eldest young Master Shun furrowed his brows. The 3S level mercenary from Scarlet Flames Academy was startled before nodding frantically. Yes, Senior Brother Grim Reaper, I made a mistake. After they reached a certain level, every mercenary would start using their alias instead of their own name. For example, even though very few people knew Nameless Nye's name in the independent state, if someone said Nameless Nye's alias, it would be thunder to everyone's ears. However, Yuanwan also didn't know Nameless Nye's alias either. Grim Reaper? Yuanwan looked at eldest young Master Shun incredulously, her mouth slightly agape. An elder from the Fearless Alliance once mentioned that a 3S level mercenary student from the Scarlet Flames Academy, whose alias was Grim Reaper, used to run amok without any inhibition in the independent state. Their martial strength was tremendous. Yuanwan never would have expected the eldest young master of the Shun family to be a 3S level mercenary of Scarlet Flames Academy. Grim Reaper. Your Grim Reaper? Yuanwan looked at eldest young Master Shin reverently. The one and only. Eldest young Master Shin smiled. Before Yi Wanwan could continue worshipping him, Nameless Nye whispered in Yi Wanwan's ear. Old pal, Shin bought his title with money. Bought it with money? Yi Wanwan looked baffled. What does he mean? Ahem. Nameless Nye looked embarrassed as he quietly explained to Yi Wanwan. 2 years ago, Old pal Shin sought out Grim Reaper of Scarlet Flames Academy and used a large amount of money to buy his alias. So in terms of copyright, Grim Reaper now belongs to old pal Shun. Yi Wanwan was dumbfounded. This kind of maneuver existed? You could buy an alias too. You have to understand the principle. Money will make the devil turn millstones. Nameless Nye giggled. Then, eldest young Master Shun's 3S mercenary ranking couldn't have been bought too, right? Yi Wanwan asked. Oh, that definitely isn't bought. Nameless Nye shook his head frantically. A mercenary's ranking is decided according to their contribution level. Old pal Shin contributed a large number of weapons to Scarlet Flames Academy, renovated the entire academy, and built hundreds of luxurious dormitories. His contributions to Scarlet Flames Academy were immense, so he used his contribution points to squeeze into the ranks of 3S mercenaries. How is this not a freaking purchase? Don't underestimate young Master Shin. He completely fits the qualifications of a 3S level mercenary and has completed the most difficult, highest-starred mission of Scarlet Flames multiple times. Nameless Nye continued. For example, Yi Wanwan didn't understand. I remember one of the missions was stealing something from Azura. Think about it. Which normal mercenary would dare to rob Azura? However, old pal Shin dared to rob Azura single-handedly. Nameless Nye gave a thumbs up. And then, Yi Wanwan found it unbelievable that Azura just allowed the matter to slide. And then, old pal Shun gave dozens of millions of dollars to Azura, and this matter was resolved, Nameless Nye answered. Yi Wanwan, wow, this is very extravagant. Chapter 1532 So, eldest young Master Shun completed those highly difficult missions in this manner. Although it was done by throwing money at people, he had the money, so what could you say? Today, Yi Wanwan confirmed one thing. As long as you had money, everything was easily resolvable. As long as you had money, you could even slap the martial arts union's president. Worst came to worst, you could give money to the martial arts union. Easy peasy. Forget about Azura. If eldest young Master Shun robbed the Fearless Alliance, he could rob her however he wanted as long as he gave her money. She would even cooperate with him and wait at the designated location for him to rob her or pretend to be defeated by him with a single finger. What are you saying? Eldest young Master Shun asked curiously and returned to them after escorting the groups of young men and women inside the Shun residence. Nothing. Just praising how awesome you are, Yuanwan answered with a smile. That's right. Old pal Shun is the best. Nameless Nian nodded frantically. Ah, you're too polite. I'm only SOSO, but there isn't a single problem in the independent state that I can't resolve or settle. I'm sure you've heard of my alias as the Grim Reaper, so I don't need to say it explicitly. Eldest young Master Shun looked very proud of himself. Yi Wanwan grinned and gave eldest young Master Shun a thumbs up. Being rich is also a type of ability. Moreover, Yi Wanwan could do nothing but accept this type of ability. Only now did Yi Wanwan clearly realize that the Shin family was probably the strongest faction in the entire independent state. No faction would become enemies with the Shin family, and countless people wanted to ingratiate themselves with the Shun family. Let's go. What are we standing around for? Eldest young Master Shin smiled and led Yi Wanwan and Nameless Nye into the Shun estate. Ah, my home is truly too large. I should have driven my car here. Eldest young Master Shin smiled helplessly. Yi Wanwan, Nameless Nye said, Old pal Shin, awesome. Yi Wanwan examined the Shun estate. It had to be said that the residence was extremely gigantic and stretched farther than the eye could see. Truthfully speaking, it wouldn't be a problem for eldest young Master Shin to drive a car around. All right, old pal Shin say, why are you throwing such great fanfare about a breakup? Nameless Nye asked the man with incomprehension. Eldest young Master Shin took out a cigarette and lit it. Then he deeply inhaled and blew a ring of smoke before turning to look at Nameless Nye. A breakup should be dignified. That's true. Old pal Shin, your breakup is different from a normal person's breakup, so it should be full of dignity. Nameless Nye nodded vehemently. I also thought so at first. Eldest young Master Shin suddenly turned around and looked at Yi Wanwan, his lips turning up. I want to change this breakup banquet into a wooing banquet. What do you think? Yi Wanwan was startled. What does changing a breakup banquet into a wooing banquet have anything to do with me? This landlord's foolish son can't possibly want to woo me, right? Beautiful miss, do you have a boyfriend? Are you married? Eldest young Master Shin suddenly asked. Before Yi Wanwan could reply, Nameless Nye's eyes brightened, and he quickly answered, no. How could she possibly be married or have a boyfriend? She's completely single, okay. Yi Wanwan, you freaking answered so fast. Brother Shin, to be honest, I was deeply attracted by this miss since the first time I saw her, eldest young Master Shin said with deep affection. Chapter 1533. Nameless Nye laid his arm around Yi Wanwan's shoulders. Old pal Shin, I'm telling you, this is my younger sister. Don't you think we share a resemblance? She's my parents' foster daughter. If it was anybody else who dared to pursue my sister, I would have slapped him to death. However, you, old pal Shin, aren't just anyone else, so I'll reluctantly agree to your marriage. But about the betrothal gift, you know how both my sister and I are people who need to look good. Brother Shin, don't worry, the betrothal gift isn't a problem. I'm also someone who needs to look good. Eldest young Master Shin clapped his chest. Yi Wanwan, what's going on? Old pal Shin, this isn't a pressing matter. It's just a betrothal gift. It's the thought that counts. Come, let's discuss it, Nameless Nye said cheerfully. Wait, I still need to ask your sister whether she likes me. Even if it's a superfluous question, since there isn't a woman in the independent state who would dislike me. Eldest young Master Shin smiled and looked at Yi Wanwan sincerely. Beautiful miss, do you like me? Yi Wanwan glanced at eldest young Master Shin. Where did his confidence come from? What's your name? Yi Wanwan asked. Grim Reaper, he answered. Real name, Yi Wanwan sighed. Shin Tianshin, Eldest young master Shin answered. Oh, then I don't like you. Yi Wanwan shook her head. Don't like me? Eldest young master Shun was surprised. That's not a problem. I can change my name. Yeah, it doesn't have much to do with your name, Yi Wanwan replied after a moment of thought. Nice. Eldest young master Shun looked incredibly excited. Do you know that you're the first girl to reject me? I know those girls who like me actually only fancy my money and not my talent. Nameless Nya looked at him. Old pal, what's your talent? Being rich. Eldest young master Shin took a deep drag of his cigarette. Great. Nameless Nya gave eldest young master Shin a thumbs up. If my sister can get with an honest and earnest person like you, old pal Shun, I would be utterly comforted. I agree to your marriage. Nameless Nya didn't allow eldest young master Shin to speak and pulled Yi Wanwan to the side. He quietly said, Damn, Sister Famous, is your head okay? If you get with old pal Shun, you'll live in the lap of luxury from now on. If you manage to be married to old pal Shin, you'll be the madam of the Shun family, and everything from the Shin family would belong to you. Every faction in the independent state, even the martial arts union, would act according to your wishes. And I can also mooch off of your greatness. How wonderful would this be? Yi Wanwan glanced at Nameless Nya. You mooching off is the main point, isn't it? Nameless Nya furrowed his brows. Sister, how could you say that? Am I that greedy for money in your eyes? Yes. Yi Wanwan nodded with conviction. Nameless Nya stared at Yi Wanwan. Sister Famous, really? I'm just doing this for you. Aren't you poisoned by the love goo? This can't be dragged out. You have to think of a way to cure it. I think that old pal Shun is quite nice. What do you think? Yi Wanwan was about to reply when eldest young master Shun walked toward them and said, Brother Nya, don't be like this. A forcefully twisted melon isn't sweet. Chapter 1534 Nameless Nya. Great. A high-quality man that won't force people like old pal Shun is exactly the kind of man I admire. Yi Wanwan glanced at Nameless Nya. He simply wants me to be married to eldest young master Shun. Beautiful, miss. How about I call a servant to drive my car here, and I can take you on a ride around my bedroom or show you around the indoor playground that I built? Eldest young master Shin smiled at Yi Wanwan. Yi Wanwan glanced at him, her lips twitching, but she couldn't utter a single word. Truly, wealthy people could do whatever they pleased. Ahem. Old pal Shin, today is your breakup banquet. We should head to the banquet venue first, Nameless Nya suggested. Yes, you're right, Brother Nya. Eldest young master Shin nodded and led them forward. A moment later, the trio arrived at the banquet venue. The venue was packed with people already. Aside from the powerful figures from different factions, Worryless Nya and Nye Linglong were also standing amongst the crowd. Yi Wanwan surveyed the crowd from the corner of her eyes. Ji Xiran was wearing a faint smile as he quietly conversed with Lord Azura, and the duo would occasionally lean in and whisper to each other, akin to old friends who hadn't seen each other in many years. Yi Wanwan couldn't help but marvel at how these two clearly had a hostile relationship before, yet none of it could be seen in this setting, and they looked like very good friends instead. Normal people probably couldn't act so friendly with each other. Eat with all you've got. 7-star, the thing you're eating is too cheap. Eat this, it's expensive. You dummy. When Yi Wanwan was about to walk toward Lord Azura and Ji Xiran, a very familiar voice was heard from the crowd. She was startled, and her gaze automatically shot toward the origin of the sound. What entered her vision was Big Dipper wearing a suit and holding a plate covered in rare and precious food. 7-star was standing next to Big Dipper, and embarrassment flooded his face when he saw the strange glances from the people around them. Come, eat this. I'm telling you, this thing is extremely expensive, and you can't even eat it outside. Later, when we leave, we'll get a bag and take more back, Big Dipper said as he ate. How about you go over there to eat? I'll wait for you here, 7-star suggested after a moment of silence. What nonsense are you saying? You should eat too. After we finish eating here, we'll go to the other side to eat. I saw even better food over there, Big Dipper said. Yi Wanwan involuntarily face-bombed when she witnessed this scene. So disgraceful. He's even brought shame to his grandma's house. Doesn't the Fearless Alliance also feed him tasty food? Ah, old Seven say, is his phone not coming? I can't reach her phone and still haven't seen her. What's going on? Big Dipper looked confused and started examining his surroundings. Yi Wanwan covered her face. Afraid that Big Dipper would approach and recognize her, she hastily turned around, wanting to leave the area. However, before Yi Wanwan could take more than a few steps, Big Dipper suddenly sprinted toward her. Damn, no way. Big Dipper stood next to Yi Wanwan and inspected her up and down, disbelief filling his face. Your sis Foam? Why would sis Foam dress so femininely? I'm not. You've got the wrong person, Yi Wanwan expressionlessly denied. What does he mean by dressing so femininely? Impossible. You're sis Foam. Big Dipper was astonished. In his recollection, Yi Wanwan always dressed androgynously or wore pure Black Widow outfits. Chapter 1535. This girl, who looked so sweet and adorable in front of them, was actually their President Fearless. Sis Foam, 7-star soon walked up and greeted Yi Wanwan. Upon seeing no way to evade them, Yi Wanwan had no choice but to helplessly sigh and admit her identity. Freaking, can't they look more mature attending someone's banquet? He's absolutely disgracing me and the Fearless Alliance. Sis Foam, why did you only get here now? The food here at the Shun family is too delicious. Ah, you should have come earlier. It's probably all gone by now. Here, I saved you some. Eat it while it's hot. Big Dipper handed his plate to Yi Wanwan. Aren't you that? Eldest young Master Shin started when he saw Big Dipper. He felt like he saw this man before. If he recalled correctly, it was at the Fearless Alliance. Beautiful miss, you know people for the Fearless Alliance? Eldest young Master Shin looked at Yi Wanwan curiously. He had no idea that the woman before him was the president of the Fearless Alliance. Before Yi Wanwan could reply, Nameless Nye threw his arm around eldest young Master Shin's shoulders and said, Old pal Shin, let me accompany you to receive those honored guests first. You're the host today, so you mustn't neglect them. Then, Nameless Nye didn't give eldest young Master Shin a chance to respond and dragged him away. Sis Foam, are you going to eat it? Big Dipper asked while lifting his plate. Didn't you eat? Yi Wanwan was full of exasperation. Of course I didn't. I knew the Shun family's banquet was today, so I didn't eat for 2 days just for this meal. Big Dipper grinned. Kill me. He's truly worthy of being my Fearless Alliance's elite. I've eaten. I'm not hungry. Yi Wanwan stared at Big Dipper. Big Dipper furrowed his brows. A pity, Sis Foam. Since you aren't eating, 7-star, and I will go to the front to eat. Sure. Go on. Yi Wanwan's lips twitched. Old 7, let's go, Big Dipper said to 7-star. I won't go. How about you go and eat by yourself? 7-star suggested. No way. I can't finish it all by myself. Big Dipper didn't allow 7-star to respond and grabbed his arm, pulling him away. As Yi Wanwan stared at Big Dipper's figure, she silently prayed in her mind that this fool wouldn't say he was from the Fearless Alliance. Her Fearless Alliance truly couldn't stomach losing this amount of face. Soon, from the corner of her vision, Yi Wanwan caught sight of worryless Nye and Nye Linglong walking toward her. Hey, isn't this Miss Wanwan? Worryless Nye reached Yi Wanwan and snorted, disgust brimming from her eyes. Worryless, this is? Several socialites had curious expressions as they looked at Yi Wanwan. Allow me to introduce this miss to everyone. This miss looked after my son, Tang Dang, for a while previously and used some sort of method that made my son acknowledge her as his mom. Now, she's come running to the Nye family and wants to be my mom's foster daughter. Worryless Nye introduced coldly. Ah, this kind of person exists? The socialites examined Yi Wanwan with surprise. Sister Worryless, don't say that. Nye Linglong walked up and said, no matter what, she took care of Tang Dang for a period of time. Younger sister Linglong, you're still young, but you mustn't be deceived by this kind of person. Who is Tang Dang? She probably had ulterior motives for taking care of Tang Dang. A socialite frostily commented with a glance at Yi Wanwan. Chapter 1536. All right, enough. Nie Ling Long shook her head at the socialites. Ah, Ling Long, you're simply too naive, a socialite said. Yuan glanced at them. She didn't want to cause trouble, but it didn't mean she was afraid of getting into trouble. If they wanted to play, she could stay to the end. How did this kind of person enter the Shun family's banquet? A socialite wearing a red gown frowned and asked. She couldn't have possibly sneaked in with the intention of seducing someone's man, right? Since you mention it, this woman does have a nice face, another socialite said with a snort while looking at Yuan. Is that even a question? She must have snuck in. The socialite in a red gown instantly stopped a male server from the Shun family that passed in front of her. Honorable lady, is there something I can assist you with? The Shin server inquired with a light chuckle. Did this woman secretly sneak inside? The red-gowned woman pointed at Yi Wanwan. The Shin server turned to Yi Wanwan instantly. Honorable lady, apologies, but can you please show me your invitation? He asked her. Of course. Yi Wanwan took out a banquet invitation from her purse. The Shin server accepted the invitation and glanced at it before returning it to Yi Wanwan with great respect. Honorable lady, my sincere apologies. I've disturbed you. I've confirmed that you're an honorable guest personally invited by eldest young Master Shin. Nie Linglong glanced at the red-gowned woman with displeasure. What kind of place was the Shun residence? How could someone without an invitation sneak in there so easily? That day, Nie Linglong personally witnessed eldest young Master Shun hand an invitation to Yi Wanwan at the Nie residence. Yi Wanwan suddenly said to the Shin server, I suspect these people don't have an invitation. You should review them. The Shin server nodded lightly and turned to the red-gowned woman. Honorable lady, please show me your invitation. What did you say? The red-gowned woman raised her eyebrows. Don't you recognize me? Apologies, this is my duty. Please show me your invitation. The Shin server repeated with a cordial smile. The red-gowned woman immediately took out an invitation from her purse and harshly threw it at the man. Look at it carefully. After the Shun server validated the invitation, he returned the invitation to her. The red-gowned woman released a bone-chilling chuckle while staring at Yuanwan. Nearby, Ji Shiran had a faint smile on his face as he occasionally glanced in Yi Wanwan's direction. Across from him, a terrifyingly icy glint surfaced in Lord Azura's eyes when he saw how Ji Shiran kept glancing at her. Enough, Wanwan. This is all a misunderstanding. Don't worry about it, Nie Linglong said to Yi Wanwan with a smile. I forgive them, Yi Wanwan replied. Then Nie Linglong and worryless Nie quickly led the socialites away from her. After they reached a corner, the red-gowned woman was furiously gnashing her teeth. Who does that damn bitch think she is? I'll absolutely make her die miserably. A socialite turned to Nie Linglong and began, Third miss, how about? Nie Linglong's face shifted, and before the socialite could react, a crisp slap rang. Nie Linglong had backhanded the socialite's face without any mercy. Chapter 1537, Third Miss. The socialite was taken by surprise when she was slapped for no reason. She didn't know what she said that elicited such displeasure from Nie Linglong. Slap. When Nie Linglong heard the words, Third Miss, she ruthlessly slapped the socialite again with an extremely dark expression, all of her previous sweetness and docility erased from her face. What did you call me? Nie Linglong's voice sounded ominous. The socialite stared at Nie Linglong while clutching her face, but didn't dare to respond. Remember, the Nie family only has one daughter, and that's me. Got it? Nie Linglong coldly pressed. The socialite turned to the smiling, worryless Nie. Why are you looking at me? She's asking whether you understood, worryless Nie said with a cold smile, warning the socialite instead of concerning herself over Nie Linglong's words. Yes, I understand. The socialite nodded vehemently and looked at Nie Linglong. She changed her salutation and repeated, Second miss, I understand. Nie Linglong's expression eased a little upon hearing that. Younger sister Linglong, overlook her mistake. She's still young, the red-gowned socialite said to Nie Linglong with a smile. In the red-gowned socialite's eyes, worryless Nie's every ability was inferior to Nie Linglong. and she was even bowing before Nie Linglong now, and didn't have any aura or bearing that belonged to a daughter of the Nie family. Instead, it was Nie Linglong who acted more like an honorable daughter of the Nie family, truly deserving of the title second miss of the Nie family. Right, Sister Worryless? I have a way to destroy that damn bitch. The red-gowned woman sneered. Worryless Nie turned to the red-gowned socialite. After listening to the red-gowned socialite's plan, her eyes sparkled and her lips turned up. Yuanwan was a bit bored and wandered around the venue for a little before stopping in front of a liquor table. Honorable lady, what would you like to drink? A waiter from the Shin family asked with a polite smile while looking at Yuanwan. In the distance, Lord Azura's brows furrowed when he saw Yi Wanwan stopping in front of the liquor table. A beverage, Yi Wanwan replied as she looked at the fair-looking Shin waiter. Honorable lady, we didn't prepare any beverages. The waiter looked a bit troubled. If you can't hold your liquor, honorable lady, you can try the champagne that the Shun family specifically prepared for receiving honored guests. The alcohol content is very low, and it isn't any different from a beverage. Will I get drunk from drinking champagne? Yuanwan asked. If she got drunk in this kind of setting, it would be a serious matter. I haven't heard of that happening. The Shin waiter handed a glass of champagne to Yuanwan. Yuanwan carefully took a sip and relaxed after tasting it. How could she get drunk from this thing? It was just a beverage. Before Yuanwan could thank the waiter, a woman darted out of the crowd. There an anxious-looking man chasing after the woman who kept sending her looks. Yuanwan was startled. What's going on? Do I know this man? Huh? So it's like that, huh? The woman sneered when she stopped in front of Yuanwan. The woman instantly picked up a glass from the table and splashed the contents onto Yuanwan. Chapter 1538. Yuanwan's reaction was also lightning fast. With a flutter of her dress and a slight tilt of her body, she instinctively dodged it. How dare you dodge it? The woman pointed at Yuanwan, fuming with rage. Ji Shiran and Si Yihan's gazes turned to them simultaneously. What do you mean? Yuanwan coldly asked while frigidly looking at the woman. Ah, Xiao Wei, forget it. I was wrong, okay? Let's forget about this matter, and we won't ever mention it again. The man grasped the woman's shoulders, looking like he wanted to keep the peace. Everyone's eyes turned to Yi Wanwan and the newcomers immediately. Yi Wanwan was baffled. There was something wrong with this couple, right? Or did they escape from the insane asylum? What happened? I don't know. Everyone looked curious as they quietly discussed this scene. Forget it. The woman snorted while glowering at the man. What? You want to protect this slutty bitch after cheating on me on the outside? HM? Don't. We're in public. Let's talk about it after we get home. I'll apologize to you, the man said. Sure? Then let's break up. The woman glanced at the man. The man frantically shook his head. Xiao Wei, I was wrong. But it's really not my fault. He pointed at Yuanwan. It was all her. She's the one who seduced me. I'm telling you, this woman took a fancy to my money. I was just playing with her and definitely don't feel anything for her. Xiao Wei, how could she compare to you? Play? The woman snorted. You spent quite a lot of money with your playing, not much. I gave her a sum of money and broke all relations with her, the man hastily replied. An uproar reverberated through the crowd. So the fiancé was catching the mistress? Isn't this man the eldest young master of the Hang family? That girl is the eldest miss of the Sun family. They just got engaged. So eldest young master Hang kept a mistress on the outside, but was discovered by eldest Miss Sun. So that woman is the mistress who seduced eldest young master Hang. Discussion flew everywhere as everyone talked all at once. Yi Wanwan glanced at the couple. She was somewhat bewildered earlier, but now understood what they were saying. Were these two people serious? Did they have some misunderstanding? Or were they under someone's direction? Damn bitch, who do you think you are? How dare you seduce my man? I'm definitely going to destroy your face beyond repair today. Eldest Miss Sun harshly shouted while glaring at Yuanwan. Amongst the guests, Lord Azura glanced at eldest young Master Sun, then looked away without any abnormalities. Xiao Wei, I'll support whatever you do. I was wrong. I was just bewitched by this woman. She's an expert. seducing me like that. So I accidentally turned impulsive and lost my rationality, and committed a wrong. Eldest young Master Hang kept sighing. Bitch, kneel down. Eldest Miss Sun shouted furiously. Yi Wanwan's lips turned up, and she snorted. PFT. Say, you can't even manage your man, but you want to come here and blame other people for seducing your man. What did you say? Eldest Miss Sun questioned frostily. Unfortunately, I'm seriously uninterested in this man. Do you have the wrong person? Yi Wanwan asked with raised brows. Chapter 1539, Wrong Person. Eldest young Master Hang walked forward and pointed at Yi Wanwan. Woman, you intentionally seduced me and extorted a large sum of money from me, and now you're saying we have the wrong person? Surprise filled everyone's eyes. How did a woman like this enter the Shun family's banquet? Eldest Miss Sun looked like she wanted nothing more than to devour Yi Wanwan live. What's going on? Nameless Nya suddenly walked up with a bewildered expression. Brother. Worryless Nya walked up too and said with a frown, This miss seduced eldest Miss Sun's fiancé. Sister Worryless, don't say things carelessly. The matter hasn't been cleared up yet. Perhaps it's a misunderstanding. Nya Ling Long butted in. Misunderstanding? Worryless Nya snorted. It'd be best if it was a misunderstanding. But eldest young Master Hang is speaking confidently and vowing that she extorted a sum of money from him. It can't be as simple as a misunderstanding, right? Damn, I thought it was something serious. But that's it? Nameless Nya glanced at them. He pointed at eldest young Master Hang. You're the one who profited ridiculously. So why are you making a commotion instead of rejoicing secretly? Yi Wanwan, is Nameless Nya a fool? If he's dim-witted, can't he freaking stay silent? Eldest brother, you shouldn't interfere in this kind of matter. Worryless Nya pulled Nameless Nya a few steps back. Damn bitch, how dare you seduce my man? I'm gonna end you here today. Eldest Miss Sun declared while staring at Yi Wanwan. An indescribable smile spread across Yi Wanwan's lips. Who gave you the confidence to think all women would like your man? What did you say? You have the guts to seduce me, but not to admit it? Don't you recall what you said when you seduced me? You said you fell in love with me at first sight and wouldn't marry anyone but me. As eldest young Master Hang said this, Yi Wanwan couldn't help chuckling out loud. This man was a galaxy short of Big Dipper even. As for his looks, how can this woman be so shameless? Seducing eldest young Master Hang and extorting money from him. But now she won't admit it? That's nothing. I've seen plenty of women like her. Look at her face. She does have the capital to do that. One of them is willing to do the beating, and the other is willing to be beaten. So what's there to it? TSK. Eldest Miss Sun is rather pitiful. How strange that a woman like her could also attend eldest young Master Shin's banquet. Did she secretly sneak in here? Logically speaking, it's not possible for anyone to get a chance to sneak inside considering the Shun family's security. But it's even more impossible for the Shun family to invite this kind of women. Many socialites' expressions were brimming with disgust and disdain when they looked at Yi Wanwan, whereas some of the men looked at her a bit lecherously. What are you all fucking shouting about here? Eldest young Master Shun walked over suddenly and stared down eldest young Master Sun and eldest Miss Sunday. Are you two stirring up trouble at my banquet? Eldest young Master Hang hastily replied, No. Brother Shin, you don't know, but this woman seduced me and extorted money from me. What? Eldest young Master Shun was startled. He looked at Yi Wanwan, then turned to eldest young Master Hang. Seduce him? My goddess would rather seduce this kind of person instead of me? Why did you seduce him? You should seduce me. I don't have a girlfriend. I would be seduced with a single hook of your finger. Eldest young Master Shun hastily interjected while looking at Yi Wanwan. Yi Wanwan. After eldest young Master Shun spoke, everyone understood how this kind of woman managed to get into the Shun family's banquet. Eldest young Master Shun took a fancy to her. Chapter 1540. 1540, the eldest young master of the Shun family had changed girlfriends countless times, and many socialites outside the Shin residence came here for eldest young Master Shin. If they could latch onto him, they would be able to soar to success. Many socialites and upper-class women sneered and shook their heads. No wonder this kind of woman could attend the Shun family's banquet. Eldest young Master Shun took a fancy to her. I was wondering why this woman would kick young Master Hang away. It turns out she has a new target. It can't be helped though, since eldest young Master Hang is no match for eldest young Master Shin. A middle-aged upper-class woman dressed in traditional noble clothing said with a snort. Isn't it simple for eldest young Master Shin to bring a woman to the banquet? We have to praise this woman for being capable of latching on to eldest young Master Shin though. Following the erupting discussion from the socialites and upper-class women, eldest Miss Sun raised her hand and wanted to slap Yi Wanwan. A crisp slap rang out, but it was because Yi Wanwan lifted her right arm to catch eldest Miss Sun's wrist. How dare you retaliate? Eldest Miss Sun questioned viciously. Scram! Yi Wanwan was expressionless as she directed force to her arm and pushed forward slightly. Eldest Miss Sun staggered back and became unbalanced, falling to the ground. Eldest young Master Hang was quick though and caught eldest Miss Sun lively. You vicious woman! You used those despicable methods to seduce me and won't admit to extorting my money. Now, you even have the guts to hit people. Eldest young Master Hang said to Yi Wanwan coldly. Although there were many upper-class ladies who were extremely disgusted with Yi Wanwan, she was personally invited by eldest young Master Shin, so it wasn't proper for other people to comment on it. Xiao Feng, did something happen? At that moment, Ji Shiran slowly walked toward them with an indescribable smile on his lips. Surprise enveloped people when they saw Ji Shiran showing up. This woman actually knew Ji Shiran? Could it be she also had a thing with Ji Shiran? But Ji Shiran was famous for being distant from women. So, what was going on? A chilly glint surfaced in Ye Linglong's eyes when Ji Shiran intervened in the matter. At the same time, a middle-aged man in the crowd saw Yi Wanwan, and his eyes widened. That woman, if he saw correctly, she was probably the president of the Fearless Alliance. The middle-aged man once saw President Fearless near the Fearless Alliance's headquarters, so he had a deep impression of her. Although the president of the Fearless Alliance dressed in a drastically different style than what he saw before, he absolutely wouldn't mistake President Bai for anybody else. So in other words, a bunch of people were claiming President Bai seduced the eldest young master of the Sun family. Wasn't this an astronomical joke? If Bro Flattop, the president of the Fearless Alliance, wanted a man, why would she need to seduce him? She could just directly abduct that man. That was the Fearless Alliance's style now? President Bai is in rather high spirits. It appears you like to argue with people now, but you're usually a lot more gentlemanly. While everyone was surprised by Ji Shiran's appearance, an aloof man with frosty eyes walked to Yi Wanwan's side. Who is that man? I don't know. I previously saw Patriarch Shin talking amicably with him and called him Lord Azura. Lord Azura? The socialites and upper-class women were immensely astonished. Azura was one of the 3 core factions of prison, and Lord Azura was the leader of Azura. Chapter 1541. Wait, what did Lord Azura call that woman? A socialite looked surprised when she seemingly heard Bai Feng's form of address from Lord Azura. Although she temporarily couldn't recall Bai Feng's name, it was very familiar as though she'd heard it before. Sis Feng, who are you fighting with? Big Dipper suddenly joined the gathering with 7 Star while holding a small roasted pig. He's saying I seduced him, and his fiancée wants me to die here. Yi Wanwan replied with a light chuckle. Seduce him? Who? Big Dipper examined the surroundings before his gaze finally landed on eldest young Master Hang. Damn, seduce him? Blah. Look at your freaking pork chop face. You're saying Sis Feng is seducing you? Go fuck yourself. Big Dipper flung the roast pig onto eldest young Master Hang's face. You? It's her who seduced my fiancé and extorted money from my fiancé. Eldest Miss Sun yelled angrily at Big Dipper. Fucking dog shit. Big Dipper turned to eldest Miss Sunday. The president of the Fearless Alliance needs to seduce your fiancé and extort money from your fiancé? The Fearless Alliance can just rob whatever it wants, Seven Star continued. Disbelief filled eldest young Master Hang and his fiancée's eyes when they heard the words Fearless Alliance. What did they say? The woman in front of them was from the Fearless Alliance? And she was the president of the Fearless Alliance? Bro Flat Top, by phone. She's President Fearless? Eldest Miss Sun exclaimed incredulously. Nonsense. Big Dipper glanced at eldest Miss Sunday. Are you freaking blind? You can't even recognize President Fearless? Aren't you from the Sun family? If I recall correctly, the Sun family is located near our Fearless Alliance and is a subordinate faction that belongs to our Fearless Alliance, right? Is Sun Long your father? Seven Star asked eldest Miss Sunday. Eldest Miss Sun nodded reflexively. Then that means the Sun family is getting gutsy and even dares to slander the president of the Fearless Alliance, Seven Star said indifferently without any expression. Eldest Miss Sun was utterly disconcerted by Seven Star's words. She couldn't believe that this young and sweet-looking girl was actually the president of the Fearless Alliance. That leader of the Fearless Alliance who killed people without blinking and would commit any imaginable misdeed. The Fearless Alliance? What's going on? Nearby, worryless Nia furrowed her brows. Wasn't this woman's name Yi Wanwan, and didn't she come from China? So how did she become the president of the Fearless Alliance in the Shun family's banquet? Nia Linglong also had a strange expression on her face. Although Nia Linglong knew Yi Wanwan was the genuine worryless Nia, she never heard of any connection between worryless Nia and the Fearless Alliance. Could it be that worryless Nia created the Fearless Alliance while she was on the outside back then? However, after thinking carefully about it, Nia Linglong discovered many illogical details about it. Even if worryless Nia really developed the Fearless Alliance, she had amnesia right now and hadn't recovered her memories yet. So how could she regain her seat on the throne as President Fearless? If worryless Nia recovered her memories, there was no way she wouldn't reunite with Tang Tang and Madame Nia. It didn't make any sense. Could it be that she randomly stumbled into the position of being mistaken as by phone by the Fearless Alliance despite being an amnesiac? Nia Linglong secretly wondered to herself, but it still didn't sound right to her. Chapter 1542 Soon. Calmness returned to Nia Linglong's eyes. If worryless Nia really was pretending to be the president of the Fearless Alliance, then that'd make things simpler. She just needed to inform the Fearless Alliance that Yi Wanwan was Chinese, and everything would be resolved easily. What she was afraid of was Ji Xiuran using his own power to help worryless Nia ascend to the Fearless Alliance's throne. After some careful thought, this kind of situation wouldn't happen. With the Fearless Alliance's style, they wouldn't compromise and acknowledge a stranger to be the president of the Fearless Alliance, even if it was Ji Xiuran, one of the bosses from prison, or the president of the Martial Arts Union who requested it. After careful consideration, Nia Linglong determined that worryless Nia had to have pretended to be President Fearless by phone. For some reason, after coming to the independent state, Nia Linglong wasn't interested in knowing the reason, nor did it have anything to do with her. At this moment, the audience was in an uproar. The socialites and upper-class women who looked at Yi Wanwan in disgust and suspicion froze in their spots, incredulous. No matter how you looked at it, that woman didn't look like the vicious and evil bro Flat Top by phone from the rumors. Who was the Fearless Alliance? They weren't afraid of the heavens or hell. They insulted Azura. They stole gold and gems and treasure from the Shin family. They fought mercenaries from the Nia family. They destroyed subordinate factions of the Ji family. As if that wasn't enough, rumors claimed they even provoked the man whose alias was Invincible. A vicious person like that would seduce the eldest young master of the Hang family. There would be a tinge of plausibility if they said she seduced Lord Azura or Emperor Ji. But the eldest young master of the Hang family? Didn't eldest young master Hang claim that President Fearless extorted money from him? A young man suddenly said from the crowd. Even the drop of a needle could be heard at the venue. No one with a brain cell would believe it. Although the Hang family was a respectable family in the independent state, the Fearless Alliance had at least 10 times the wealth of the Hang family. Yet he claimed the president of the Fearless Alliance would sacrifice her body to con a little money from eldest young Master Hang. That was more absurd than a joke. Fearless Alliance. Eldest Miss Sun's teeth were chattering and her face was ghastly pale. She collapsed to the ground like a pile of mud and fearfully stared at Yuanwan. Bro flat, no. It's President Bai. Yuanwan coldly surveyed eldest Miss Sun and eldest young Master Hang. She didn't know these two people at all. So why would they come running to her and claim she seduced eldest young Master Hang and extorted money from him for no reason? It would be explainable, and she could understand it if it was just a misunderstanding, but this was evidently not a misunderstanding. If it wasn't a misunderstanding, then a better explanation would be that someone was directing them. At the same time, sweat seeped on the forehead of the red-gowned socialite, standing next to worryless Nye. She was the one who involved eldest young Master Hang and eldest Miss Sunday. But how could she have known that this woman was the president of the Fearless Alliance? If she knew, there was no way she would have dared to do this. President of the Fearless Alliance? Eldest young Master Shun was dumbfounded. First, he glanced at nameless Nye next to him before running his eyes over Yuanwan. When he visited the Fearless Alliance, President Fearless was dressed like a widow and used a black veil to cover her face. So how could he have recognized the little sweetie who made his heart pound as President Fearless? No wonder. When I saw her at the Fearless Alliance, I didn't see her face clearly, but I found her voice familiar. It turns out I met her already at the Nye residence, eldest young Master Shin murmured. Chapter 1543. 1543. Nameless Nye looked sorrowful and sighed helplessly. It was over. After learning that Yuanwan was currently President Fearless, eldest young Master Shin wouldn't have any feelings for her anymore. Old pal Shin, in truth, I didn't intentionally deceive you. You know how something like love is unrelated to status, gender, or race. Love is love. If you've fallen in love, you can pursue her whether she's a human, ghost, or poltergeist. Even humans and dogs can get married. Of course, dogs don't need betrothal gifts, but humans, nameless Nye quietly said with a smile. Yes. Eldest young Master Shun gave nameless Nye a thumbs up. I like women like little sweetheart who have both beauty and intelligence, both intelligence and martial skills, both martial skills and viciousness. She's the little sweetheart who the heavens sent to me to spend the rest of my life with. She's my little angel, my goddess, my most beloved. Nameless Nye was baffled. Was eldest young Master serious? Was masochism considered an illness? Right. Nameless Nye nodded vehemently. Old pal Shin, look at me. I've experienced this before. Love is like this. Brother Nye, have you had a girlfriend before? Eldest young Master Shin curiously asked nameless Nye all of a sudden. Nameless Nye. Old pal Shin, I'm telling you, love has absolutely nothing to do with whether someone's had a girlfriend before. Nameless Nye said. Before eldest young Master Shun could respond, he felt a bone-chilling gaze landing on him. It was akin to an icily glinting dagger, causing discomfort to envelop his body. Eldest young Master Shin turned around and discovered both Lord Azura and Ji Shiran staring at him. One had an inexplicable smile in his eyes while the other had a cold glint in his eyes. Brother Nye, why are Lord Azura and Emperor Ji looking at me? I feel like their gazes pose an indescribable threat to me. Eldest young Master Shin asked nameless Nye. Oh. Nameless Nye looked forward and was startled when he saw Lord Azura. This man looked somewhat familiar, very familiar. Did he see this man somewhere before? But he couldn't recall it now. Eldest Miss Sun suddenly knelt in front of Yuanwan. President Bai, it's a misunderstanding. We mistook you. President Bai, believe me. President Bai, it's really a misunderstanding. A woman once seduced me and extorted money from me, and President Bai is wearing similar clothes to that woman today, so it caused us to mistake the wrong person. President Bai mustn't take it to heart. Eldest young Master Hang wore a saccharine smile as he looked at Yuanwan. Oh? You mistook me? Yuanwan stared at the couple and chuckled lightly. Yes. I mistook you. I definitely mistook you. Eldest young master Hang chuckled abashedly. Slap! A crisp sound rang out at the venue. In front of everyone, 7 Stars slowly walked up and ruthlessly backhanded eldest young master Hang's face. Blood immediately dribbled from the corner of eldest young master Hang's lips. Apologies, I mistook you. I thought you were my enemy. 7 Star expressionlessly stared at him. Big Dipper's eyes brightened, and he instantly sent his leg flying, kicking eldest young master Hang several meters back. Oh! Big Dipper looked surprised. Sorry, I mistook you. Chapter 1544. 1544. After eldest young master Hang stood up, his eyes glinted coldly and veins popped on his forehead. Eldest young master Hang was martially inclined, but he didn't dare to retaliate when confronted with members of the Fearless Alliance, especially when their president was also there. Eldest young master Hang, are you all right? Big Dipper sprinted to eldest young master Hang's side and asked with a grin. Eldest young master Hang hastily replied, I'm fine. I'm fine. Misunderstanding. It's all a misunderstanding. Right. Misunderstanding, a misunderstanding indeed. Big Dipper nodded vehemently and didn't give eldest young master Hang a chance to react before ruthlessly smacking the back of the man's head. You eldest young master Hang fumed inwardly. Misunderstanding. I mistook you again. Big Dipper giggled mischievously. Eldest young master Hang was about to respond when the landlord's foolish son walked over and kicked his ass, sending him several meters back. My bad. I mistook you, eldest young master Shin said. Brother Shin, I'm not criticizing you, but you aren't acting realistically, Big Dipper urgently said to him. Eldest young master Shun was startled. How so? Brother Shin, look, your motions and demeanor have to be the same. Let me show you, Big Dipper said and strode to eldest young master Hang, smacking the guy's face with his fist in the blink of an eye. Are you all right? It's a misunderstanding. Look at your pork chop face. You look too similar to my enemy. Sorry, my bad. After Big Dipper made eldest young master Hang stagger back, he hastily supported eldest young master Hang with worry brimming from his face. Yuan, are there 2 dimwits here? Enough! Patriarch Shin expressionlessly walked forward at this time. When eldest young master Shun saw Patriarch Shin, he resembled a mouse who saw a cat and lost all his previous arrogance and smugness. Isn't it inappropriate for you two to cause a commotion in my Shin residence? Patriarch Shin said to eldest young master Hang and eldest Miss Sun sternly. The duo was as quiet as a cicada in winter and didn't dare to utter a word. President Bai, you won't take offense to the fact that I didn't recognize you earlier, right? Patriarch Shin asked with a light chuckle, turning to Yuan. Yuan smiled faintly. What are you saying, Uncle Shin? Of course I don't mind. Patriarch Shin might look honest and naive, but was actually so shrewd that no one in the independent state could compare to him. Otherwise, a clan that didn't have any accomplishments in martial arts absolutely couldn't become the wealthiest faction in the independent state or one of its 4 great clans. President Bai, this is a banquet hosted by my Shin family today, so can you please give a little face to me and settle this matter by throwing these 2 out? Patriarch Shun inquired with a smile. Of course I have to give face to Uncle Shun. Since Uncle Shun has spoken, I'll leave their punishment to Uncle Shun, Yuan replied. Patriarch Shun's words were flawless, and his tone was also very appropriate. If Yuan didn't agree, she'd look unappreciative. Great. Thank you so much for giving face to a pitiful old man like me. I'm very grateful. Patriarch Shun nodded to Yuan and waved his hand at the Shun guards nearby. Take these 2 people outside. You're tuning in to the Romance Rendezvous YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.